From Lake Minnetonka to Lake Mendota, on both sides of the St. Croix River, passion's going to be running hot today. We're going to set it off inside the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. It's the border war between Wisconsin and Minnesota, the longest played rivalry in all of college football. This is the 115th edition of this game. Big news breaking just a few moments ago. We're just 1 minute to kickoff, and we have just learned about an hour ago that Brian Cooper, the starting quarterback for the Gophers, will not play because of a shoulder injury that he suffered last week in the win at Michigan. Therefore, Tony Mortensen, the redshirt freshman, will be making his first career start under a searing spotlight today in the rivalry game. And this is the object of everybody's affections this afternoon. The axe, symbolic of the legendary might, the voluminous strength of the legendary lumberjack Paul Bunyan. Hello everybody, I'm Mark Jones along with Chris Spielman. Glad you came aboard. Dave Ryan join us in just a few. Now, legend has it that Paul Bunyan chopped down tons of trees in this part of the country, thus creating the Grand Canyon. Chris, if you believe that, you can believe anything in this rivalry.
Well, this is what rivalry in college football is all about, and this is a trophy game that means something. There's a lot of emotions. One of the unique things about this game, the team that wins storms the other team's sidelines to get the axe if that previous team held the axe. A lot of energy in this building, Mark. It's going to be a lot at stake. It's a border war. Standings are at stake, and coaches and everything, reputations are ready to roll. It's going to be a great football game.
Well, this game, Chris, brought to you in high definition by Phillips. And Minnesota players to a man telling us over the last couple of days that they remember being thoroughly embarrassed last year in that loss at Wisconsin. Lawrence Maroney, one of the top rushers in the country, is back deep on the kickoff return for Minnesota. Wisconsin won the toss, deferring to the second half. The Gophers receiving. And they kick it away from Maroney to number 7, Jakari Wallace. Wallace starting off with the 1. And he brings it out 22 yards out to the 23-yard line. And Tony Mortensen is from nearby Hutchinson, Minnesota. That's about 2 hours west of here. He's only thrown 7 passes all season, but he did see some late game action last week. Came in late in the fourth quarter to hand off a couple of times and set up that game-winning field goal in the victory at Michigan. He's very tall, very strapping, has a very strong arm. It's first down and 10 from the 22-yard line. He hands it off to Maroney, tries the right side, not much room. He's brought down at about the 23-yard line, gain of about 1 on the play. Time now for the Nivea for Men starting lineups. Valentine, the fullback. Spaeth, Payne, and Wheelwright, a tall target, as the wide receiver. Up front, this is a very talented offensive line. Setterstrom and Esslinger, all-American candidates. It'll be second down and about 8 to go. Single back set, 3 receivers for the Gophers. Spaeth in motion. The toss to Maroney. Maroney brought down after a gain of about 2 yards that time by Dontez Sanders, the emotional leader of that defense for Wisconsin. Let's take a look at the guys up front. They lost all 4 players to the NFL last year, still waiting for one of those 4 to make a name. The linebackers, Sanders, who made the stop, Zalewski, and Lamar Watkins is the weak side linebacker. And in the secondary, there's going to be Bell, Stellmacher back after missing a couple of games, Rogers, and Langford on the corner. Third down, and a long, well, 6 to go for Minnesota. Mortensen had it batted down at the line of scrimmage. And a very inauspicious beginning for the Golden Gophers. Not so golden on this 3-and-out. It was batted down by number 91, Jason Chapman. So they'll come and punt on the first series.
Very auspicious beginning for the Wisconsin Badgers since they got 51 rolled up on them last week. They wanted to make sure they come out and get off to a fast start. And right there, they did. They set the tempo. First strike. They struck first blood.
Brandon Williams, number 1, Chris, standing at his own 30-yard line. Justin Kusick punting from his own 11 for Minnesota. Kusick averaging about 39.3 per punt. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Williams fields it on the fly, knocked loose from the ball. And the Gophers have it. They're going to bring it back and mark it at the 34-yard line. Dominique Barber recovered the loose ball.
You got to look at the flag now, Mark. Usually where it was lined up, it's either an illegal formation, not enough men in the backfield, or Wisconsin was lined up off sides. this would be a mental error.
Illegal formation, only 6 men on a line of scrimmage. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Much to the chagrin and disappointment of Glenn Mason, the head coach of Minnesota.
That's a mental error right there. And you see right here that one of these guys has to be up on the line of scrimmage, and you got to be able to break the center's rear end. Right here's the rear end. I don't think he's breaking the rear end. And so they bring it back, and that is a mental error. That's something that should never happen at this stage of the season. That costs Minnesota huge. I mean, turnovers are going to be a big part of this game. Right there, they blew up.
Glenn Mason in his 9th season at Minnesota. This is potentially the year of the breakthrough for him. They defeated Michigan last week, an opponent they hadn't beaten since 1986. And winning the Little Brown Jug, another trophy quote-unquote game this week. They're battling for the axe against Wisconsin. Do it again on 4th and 12 now. Another low line drive punt. Williams again on the fly. Good initial move to elude one tackler. Brandon Williams still on his feet and battling inside Minnesota territory at the 43-yard line. A nice 12-yard return after the 34-yard punt, and there, exhibit A of the game that is rife with emotion. Harry Alvarez getting in the midst of things to separate the two teams. And Wisconsin will start off with good field position as we look at John Stocco. It's a big game for him. He's from nearby Richfield, Minnesota. Has some 15 or 20 family members here to watch the game, including his mother, brothers. Last year, he came here as a first-year starter. Actually, last year at home, he was the first-year starter. 3 years ago, he was in the Metrodome as the third-string quarterback. And my, how times have changed for John Stocco. Big 3-step drop, and it's incomplete at the 39-yard line, intended for Williams. Here's our Nivea for Men starting lineups in the backfield. Keep your eyes on number 2, Brian Calhoun, one of the top 5 rushers in the nation. Presley, Daniels, Williams, and Orr, who had a big week last week at Northwestern. Up front, this has been a great constant for Wisconsin. The offensive line led by Joe Thomas and Donovan Raiola, joined by Palermo, Lawrence, and Urban. Second down and 10. 2 tight end formation, 2 wides, and a single back. Whistle this one dead. There's a flag down on the far side of the field, Chris. So both teams a little bit sloppy in the early going here.
Well, I think anytime you have a big game.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 53, offense. Illegal snap. That's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
There's a lot of energy in the building. You want to get going and get the first punch thrown. Right there, teams would get anxious, and Donovan Raiola almost fake snapped it there. So you got to get your composure and play with controlled insanity. That's what you need to play with.
I love that term. Wisconsin has won 8 of the last 10 against Minnesota, but they've split the last 4. 2nd down and 15. Brian Calhoun is the lone back. Play fake by Stocco, looking up top, but he decides to run it himself. And Stocco brought down at about the 44-yard line. Let's take a look at the guys up front for the Minnesota defense. Steve Davis, one of the leaders in the conference with 5 sacks. Lossley, Montgomery, and Litka join him. A little bit of a change in the linebacking core. McKenzie moves into the middle linebacker spot. Shevlin and Reese join him. And in the secondary, Banks and Harris on the corners. Pavelski and Jones, the safeties. 3rd down for the Badgers on their opening drive of the ball game. 3rd and 11. Stocco, plenty of time to throw, and has Brandon Williams for the first down at the 26-yard line. He was working on the free safety, Pavelski. And Brandon Williams continues to rewrite that record book.
We watched John Stocco last week, Mark, and the one thing I know is his confidence in throwing the football, and he can sling the rock. When he has success, and you got receivers like Brandon Williams, he's more confident throwing the football. And Paul Chryst, the offensive coordinator's more confidence throwing the football. Wisconsin has become 2-dimensional all of a sudden with the growing success and confidence of John Stocco.
Yeah, well over 500 yards of offense last week at Northwestern. They picked up 18 that time. Stocco looking to the edge. Jonathan Orr almost came up with a circus grab, working against Jamal Harris. And speaking of great weeks last week. Jonathan Orr, an opposing target. He had 4 touchdown catches last week.
John Stocco throws this ball where only Orr can go get it. Jamal Harris goes up and plays it perfectly with his body, playing the football. That's why there wasn't interference. They're letting him bang a little bit, but he's playing the ball. And it was a great throw, too, now. He only put it where Orr could get it, but they're well played on both sides.
Orr really starting to find his stroke offensively. On 2nd down and 10, backs line up out of the eye. Orr in motion. His fullback fell, and Calhoun didn't get his lead blocker, Chris. Shevlin made the stop on the play, number 46.
Well, when you don't have maybe the best fullback in the country, Matt Bernstein, who's out with a sports hernia, this can happen. Presley slipped on his way to a lead block, thus allowing Shevlin to shoot through the gap and make a play. But certainly Calhoun's been affected a little bit. I'd be naive to say he wouldn't or wasn't affected without Bernstein in there leading away and open up the path.
Yeah, they lost 4 downs on that one. Pardon me, 4 yards. It's 3rd down and 14. Stocco. Owen Daniels makes the catch and is tackled immediately at the 19-yard line. That's about 2 yards short of the 1st down. Mario Reese made the tackle for the Gophers defense, and in comes the field goal unit led by Taylor Meloff.
That's a nice move by Coach Lockwood, defensive coordinator for the Gophers, when Wisconsin motions to empty set. Brian Calhoun leaves and goes to the slot. They only rush 3 and drop 8, thus leaving Stocco nowhere to throw the football.
Meloff is 8 of 9 on the season. That's a career long of 46. And he pushed this one off to the right. So the first opportunity of the ball game goes awry for Wisconsin as he misses a 36-yarder. Back with the Axe game after this.
This ESPN Instant Classic is presented by Saturn.
A new way out. The thoroughly redesigned 250 horsepower Saturn Vue. Saturn.
I woke up in the middle of the night, terrified. Someone tried to come in my house. Fortunately, we had an ADT security system.
Mrs. Parker, this is ADT. We're receiving an alarm. Are you all right?
Yes, we're okay. I'm glad ADT was there, watching out for my family.
Don't take chances. Take control of your family's safety with ADT, America's #1 security company. Call now and save $100 off when you buy ADT's family package. ADT, always there.
Steven!
I was just hungry.
Well, is dinner not good enough for you?
Sorry.
Oh, you're darn right you're sorry.
Everyone wants the new fresh toasted chicken Parmesan sandwich, zesty marinara, melted cheese, only at Subway restaurants.
Would you like to buy a raffle ticket to win a new car?
A new car? Yeah, right. Go ask my neighbor.
Hey, neighbor, look what I won! Just for buying a raffle ticket.
Life's full of regrets.
Pretty sweet, huh?
Shoulda.
Coulda. East woulda. Don't let paying too much for auto insurance be one of them. Call Eastwood Insurance for a free price comparison today. With our low rates, it's one decision you won't regret.
Coulda, Eastwooda!
A capacity crowd of 80,000 looks on as Olympian Dick Fosbury uses a whole new approach to the high jump. Fosbury successfully executes an unorthodox backward flip that propels him across the bar for an Olympic record and a gold medal. The 21-year-old champion sees his invention christened the Fosbury Flop.
That was October 20th, 1968.
Dave Ryan on the
sidelines of the Metrodome in Minneapolis. No score. These two teams, Big Ten rivals, Minnesota and Wisconsin, playing for Paul Bunyan's Axe. Well, Brian Cupido not available today, as Mark mentioned earlier in the broadcast, because of a sprained right throwing shoulder suffered against Michigan last week. He did not go through any warm-ups today. That means Tony Mortensen is the starting quarterback today. And Mark, they like his linebacker-type mentality. He's very tough. Coach Glenn Mason said after the game he hopes reporters ask him about a quarterback controversy. That means Mortensen played well.
Yeah, that would be good news for Minnesota, Dave. Thanks. And out to the 25-yard line is Lawrence Maroney. And Chris, with a guy making his first career start, a redshirt freshman, how much do you reduce your offensive package, if at all?
Well, it depends on the plan. And if you look at Minnesota's overall plan, it's not that difficult. Run right, run left, and throw the tight end hot route or throw the ball out the wheel right. So there's not a lot of reduction that needs to be done to make Mortensen effective in this football game.
On 2nd down and 5, Mortensen with a play fake. Looking downfield for Wheelwright. Incomplete. Knocked away at the last moment by Levon Rowan, number 21, who came in and delivered the blow.
So I like the decision, though. The decision and the confidence to throw it deep to Wheelwright, because Wheelwright's 6'5". Again, the officials are letting him hand fight, and that's a nice job by Bell coming over there to clean up so that Wheelwright doesn't haul in the bouncing ball. But Bell came from all the way from the cornerback from the backside, Mark. That's running to the football.
Got to wonder about the psyche of Brett Bielema's defensive unit, a unit that surrendered 674 yards last week against the Wildcats. Here's Maroney trying to get to the edge. Lawrence Maroney, double deuce, is on the loose. And Lawrence Maroney out to the 31-yard line, just enough for the Minnesota first down. Got a good block on the edge by Jared Ellerson. Those wide receivers are required to block.
Yeah, but that's what separates Lawrence Maroney right there, speed. Joe Stellmacher, the safety that's responsible for contain, takes a bad angle, and when you have speed like Lawrence Maroney outruns Stellmacher to the corner, getting the first down. But a bad angle by Joe Stellmacher. Actually well defensed by Wisconsin, but speed made up for the lack of angles.
Maroney trying to crack the 1,000-yard plateau on the season for the 3rd consecutive year. This time out to the 34-yard line. Got about 3.5 on that one. You know, 2nd down and 7.
The problem that Minnesota brings, if you're Wisconsin, is that they have a kid named Gary Russell that is just as effective as Maroney. In fact, his yards per carry are a little bit higher than Maroney's. And there's Brett Bielema. They took a shellacking. They were embarrassed last week. And he said all week that his kids were walking through the hall saying, hey, I can't wait to play. The kids can't wait to play. And it's a different type of ball game. Let's line up and find out who's tougher. That's it.
Says that he saw a lot of hurt in their eyes after the game last week in the locker room at Northwestern. Ready to atone for that. Out to the 39-yard line. There's Maroney once again, brought down by Dontez Sanders. About 2 yards short of the first down.
We'll take a look at one of the best centers in the league right here is Esslinger. Watch him go. He has the ability to pull and get upfield. Cuts Zalewski, but Dontez Sanders nice on a pickup. But Dontez has to, when he makes contact, he has to bring his feet so that Maroney doesn't fall for 2 extra yards. Again, a nice combination of speed by Maroney, and right there you saw the power.
A lot of people wondered how he would react to being the #1 guy without Marion Barber. Well, here's Maroney answering some more questions, getting the first down out to the 44-yard line. His teammates affectionately call him Kool-Aid for his wonderfully downplayed disposition.
Well, you see the other great offensive lineman that Minnesota has is Setterstrom, and Setterstrom was able to pull on that play. Watch him come in, and he's getting penetration down the field. He's not getting harassed, thus he becomes an extra lead blocker. See, his shoulders get turned downfield. Him not being harassed allows Minnesota to have a positive rushing play.
First down and 10 to one of the top rushing teams in the nation. Here's the play fake by Mortensen. Wide open, Ellerson, and it's incomplete. There was no one within 10 yards of him, Chris.
Yeah, and that's on him right there, 83. He's trying to make SportsCenter with a one-handed catch. Go up with 2.
And he was wide open.
Well, watch, he's going to come in, he's going to fake crackback. See him slow down a little bit? Then you see Wheelwright bring the safety with him, and Ellerson's in the end zone, but he goes up with one hand. That's a great throw. Go up and catch the football. 2 hands. Look, that's what they're saying right there. Luke Tressel down there. Catch the ball with 2 hands, son.
Seemed to give up on it at the end of the play. 2nd down and 10. Toss to Maroney. Lawrence Maroney brought down after a gain of about 3 yards on the play by Nick Hayden, joined by Shaughnessy, Chapman, and Monty up front. And Wisconsin, remember, defensively lost 4 guys to the NFL. They're rebuilding right now.
Let's make a note. All right, there's 2 blown opportunities for Minnesota early on. I mean, 2 big opportunities that they could have taken advantage of and left on the field.
Sets up a 3rd down and 6. Wallace in motion to the top of your screen. Pass is going to be ruled complete to Logan Payne, but he appears to be about a yard shy of the 1st down. Brett Bell closed on him real quickly, Chris.
Brett Bell has great closing speed and took a good angle. Now this is something that you might want to ask yourself why they're punting. And frankly, I'm going to agree with you asking that question. You have maybe the best rushing offense in college football, it's early in the ball game. But I would go for it. Why not? What do you have to lose? Nothing. The axe? You already left 2 opportunities on the field. But, you know, it's a conservative call, probably the right call, but I'd go for it.
Can't sleep on Glenn Mason. He does have a little bit of riverboat gambler. Although this time, Cusick punts it away. Williams watching it bounce out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark this at about the 9. The 115th chapter of Minnesota against Wisconsin. More after this.
I do enjoy drinking Guinness at a tailgating party.
Yes, and I've discovered that the local custom is to wear cheese on your head. So, to fit in, I brought along some hunks of Limburger.
Limburger cheeseheads? Brilliant!
Brilliant!
I'm not so sure we're fitting in.
I smell feet.
Whatever the occasion, drink responsibly.
Brilliant!
It's college football, and now it's live on ESPN Classic. Live games have a new home. Saturday, the Wyoming Cowboys and the Colorado State Rams clash in their annual border war. Who will take home the coveted bronze boot? Tomorrow's classics can now be seen today on ESPN Classic. College football has a new tradition. Wyoming versus Colorado State live, 3 Eastern Saturday, and this game is only on ESPN Classic.
From Studio C in Industry City, Davis.
Our first guest needs little introduction, so ladies and gentlemen, please welcome George Hamilton. How are you, sir? Please have a seat. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. You know, I got to tell you, that TV in the green room is spectacular.
That is no TV, George. That is the award-winning Dell 42-inch HD plasma TV. And we noticed you noticing. Freddie, show the green room cam footage.
The green room cam?
Oh, yeah, we're sneaky devils here.
Look at you. Those features. That true-to-life color. You're stunning.
Yeah, the Dell plasma TV. An amazing picture at an amazing price.
Oh, the TV. The TV's great, too. It's spectacular.
Spectacular, George. It's a Dell!
Davis, right now, save $400 on a Dell 42-inch HD plasma TV. Plus, get free shipping. To get the most out of your home entertainment, add a Dell Media Center PC starting at only $699. It's entertainment made easy with Dell and Microsoft.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher-priced brokers. And Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Welcome, everyone, to the Metrodome here in Minneapolis. Zeros on the scoreboard, and this is the 115th edition of Wisconsin against Minnesota. John Stockel, the starting quarterback. 1st down and 10 from their own 9-yard line. Pats line up out of the eye. Brian Calhoun. Calhoun, the 5th leading rusher in the nation, gets about 3. Let's go to Scott Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, this update brought to you by Taco Bell. Torian Henderson making his way into the NCAA record books. This catch from Cody Hodges, career reception number 263, most ever by a running back. It led to a field goal in Texas Tech with the early 3-0 lead over K-State.
They don't waste much time. Number 1 team offensively in the nation. Red Raiders, 2nd down and 7. Hand it off to Calhoun again. Trying to get to the perimeter, but the defense closing quickly at the 14-yard line. And Calhoun acknowledging the good hit by Jamal Harris and Pavelski.
Well, if you're Wisconsin, you come out the first series, you throw the football. The reason you're throwing the football is to open up the running game of Brian Calhoun. Now, I'm not the only one who knows that. Coach Lockwood down there understands that. And I like what Wisconsin's trying to do is to get Calhoun involved in the football game. 3rd and 5 is manageable for them.
The uncontrollable, indomitable energy of Coach Lockwood on the sidelines. A tangible asset for Minnesota defensively. Stocco, incomplete, into and out of the arms of Brandon Williams. Usually a surefire bet when catching the ball, but not that time.
Again, the opportunity for somebody to take control in this football game, and they're making elementary mistakes. They have a nice matchup. They got 2 guys covering Calhoun out of the backfield, puts Brandon Williams up, Pavelski to safety. They don't have a chance, and there's Stocco. That's all right. Go pat him on the back and say you'll get him next. But no, 2 drops so far by Brandon Williams. Uncharacteristic.
Yeah. Ken DeBush now into punt. One of the top punters in the nation. Number 3 in the country, averaging over 46 per, but this one a low line drive. Logan Payne at the 44. And Payne is going to give Minnesota good field position at the 47-yard line. 4 yards on the return, and that's what they're playing for. Who's going to take it home this year?
On this job, you notice things, like this new Steak Fanatic pizza. It's a big hit with the guys.
Steak Fanatic pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Man fuel. Cool.
Hey, hurry up! Only 23 figurines left, Hank! They're statues!
They're statues.
Introducing Domino's new Steak Fanatic Pizza. Angus steak piled on even more steak, smothered in cheese. Buy a medium for just $9.99 and heap on even more Angus steak for just $2. Hit the door. It's Domino's new Steak Fanatic Pizza.
Built strong. Built comfortable. Built right. Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
You are black, even a little dandruff shows.
That's why more people are switching from ordinary dandruff shampoo to Selsun Blue, doctor recommended for flakes and itch, with aloe and moisturizers for healthier hair and scalp. Make the switch.
Never wear black without the blue. Selsun Blue.
Tony, most people want to get in better shape, but they just don't have the time.
Well, Stacy, what if I told you in just 3 20-minute workouts, only 1 hour a week, you can increase your energy levels, strengthen your heart, reduce your stress, and shape all the muscles of your body, all with one quality machine? Would you be interested?
Yes, I would.
Well, Stacy, I have good news.
Tell me more.
I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Yeah, baby. You can do it.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
A triple instant classic all day today on ESPN Classic.
This is the most played rivalry in all of college football, Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's about Paul Bunyan's axe, symbolic of the legendary strength of the lumberjack, and his landscaping with the help of maybe that axe responsible for creating the Mississippi River, Puget Sound, the Black Hills, and the Grand Canyon. A bit of local folklore for you. The toss into the boundary on 1st and 10. Maroney gets those shoulders squared upfield out to the 30, actually the 42-yard line. Down to Dave Ryan on the sidelines.
All right, Mark, more history on Paul Bunyan's axe. First award to the winner of this great rivalry in the Big Ten back in 1948. The results go back to 1894 all the way down. Now, interestingly enough, this is not the original axe. The original sits in the College Football Hall of Fame in South Bend, Indiana. This was a replacement crafted by a carpenter from the University of Wisconsin back in the year 2000 because they ran out of room. As you can see, the 6-foot handle has plenty of room beyond the results of last year's Wisconsin 38-14 win at Madison over the Gophers, Mark.
Yeah, Rhino, if it's more than 6 feet, it might take more than a couple of guys to carry that. Let's go back to the studio. and Scott Reese.
All right, guys, we update you from other Big Ten action. Iowa on the board at home against the Hoosiers. Drew Tate, 8 yards to Matt Malloy, just his 3rd catch of the year, good for a score. And Iowa tacks on the PAT to lead 7-0. Elsewhere, no score in Columbus, Michigan State, and Ohio State, but the Sparties are driving. We'll keep you posted. Mark, back to you.
All right, Scott, back here. It's 1st down and 10 after that Lawrence Maroney run. Kerry Russell now in the ball game. Mortensen looking up top. Incomplete at the 7-yard line, intended for Jared Ellerson on that one. 5:35 to go in the first quarter. We're here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. I'm Mark Jones along with Chris Spielman. Rob Stone not with us this week. Dave Ryan down to the sidelines, and that's what they're playing for. Paul Bunyan's Axe. It's the 115th edition of this rivalry. And one of the big storylines coming into the game, how would Minnesota deal with without their starting quarterback? Cupido not in. Mortensen has been taking every snap since the opening of the game. Here's Russell on the top. Kerry Russell brought down at the 35-yard line, and it was Russell's 61-yard run last week, Chris, that set up the game-winning field goal by Giannini against Michigan.
Well, he's Lawrence Maroney Jr. I mean, you don't lose much.
They call him Baby Earl around here.
Well, he looks like Baby Earl. He's a little bit more powerful, more that slasher inside type runner. But I'm telling you, Mark, Minnesota's system that they have for their offensive line, they're so in sync with each other that anybody can get back there and run the football. If you have the talent, you can really run it like Russell Maroney did.
He's had a great string of running backs over the last 6-7 years. Here's Russell. And Russell is brought down at the 29-yard line. There's a flag down on the play back at the 36, though. Zalewski helping out on the stop on the play. Zalewski going to be a very important variable.
Number 64, offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
It's against Steve Scheidel. I was getting back to Zalewski, number 41 for Wisconsin. They had a lot of communication problems last week in surrendering almost 700 yards against Northwestern. As the middle linebacker, why is Zalewski, Chris, so important?
Well, he's the guy that sets the fronts, Mark, and anytime there's an adjustment or a motion, he's got to set the defense to where that motion is coming from. And playing middle linebacker is very similar to playing quarterback on offense, where the film study is the same. And if you do not set the defense and get everybody in the right gaps, you're vulnerable to big plays. So I know that this week, in talking to Coach Bielema, Zalewski spent extra time in the film room.
On 3rd and 17, a little quick jailbreak screen to Jakari Wallace. And Wallace gets back some of the yards after the penalty. There'll be 4th down coming up. Got it down to the 33, 4th down and about 5 to go. Picked up 12 on that play. Approaching 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter, and Mortensen staying on the field. They're going to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I like the call. I think you're just out of the range of your field goal kicker, so what do? You put it in the hands of your offense. Showing a lot of confidence in the young quarterback, Tony Mortensen.
A quarterback that thought about attending Wisconsin. He was offered by both Wisconsin and Iowa. On 4th and 4, they're 5 of 12 on this situation in the season. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. The Badgers take over on downs. Nick Hayden got one of those huge claws up there and knocked it down.
Again, recognition is key. Anytime you have a 3-step drop, the chances of you getting a sack are minimal. So when you get a 3-step drop, you watch big Nick Hayden. What's he do? He recognizes 3-step ball, get that big paw in there, get in the throwing lane and knock it down. That's a well-coached defense right there. 3-step drop, defensive line, hands in there. Good things happen. Good things happen for Nick Hayden and the Badger D.
And Chris, so far you'd have to agree that the element of a potential hangover from last week's game against Northwestern does not appear to be there.
Right, and they'll get more confidence, Mark, the more success they have, and as the game wears on, they feel like they're back.
1st down and 10, 2 tights and 2 wideouts. Stocco to pass. Has Jonathan Orr. Caught it at the 30-yard line. Got in behind Tremaine Banks on the play, and it's 1st and 10 from the 30 as Jonathan Orr, big number 9, continues to shine.
Well, this is a nice job of play action. First of all, John Stocco's looking deep all the way. Jonathan Orr is setting up, beating the receiver deep down the middle, but the play action works because Raiola pulls from a center position, which people see linemen pull and they think run, sucks up the defensive back, and a great job of hip turn by order just for the football.
It's a pretty difficult catch. First down and 10 after the 38-yard gain. Stockel falls to the carpet. And they're going to mark it back at the 33-yard line. We get a chance to hand it off to anybody, but Jonathan Orr last week, Chris, 4 touchdown catches, tying a school record against Northwestern. For so many years after his freshman year, people were waiting to see that talent emerge again. It seems to be coming to fruition now again.
Well, Mark, you know, a receiver is success is in direct correlation with the quarterback's success. And if you don't have that so-called stud quarterback, then it's tough for a receiver to get great numbers. And face it, Wisconsin's a running football team.
They run it here. Calhoun bottled up at the 33-yard line. Montgomery making the stop. Back to Scott in the studio.
All right, Mark, a couple of updates for you. First of all, just gotten on the board, so make it 6-0, extra point pending. Michigan State with a field goal. They lead Ohio State 3-0 midway through the first, guys.
All right, Scott, and you look at Michigan State, Ohio State, this game, several others, including Iowa. A huge week, a pivotal one in the Big Ten Conference. Stockel. Williams squeezes it, hangs on this time, and gets down to the 13-yard line. He got in behind Jamal Harris to pick up 20. Well, Bobby Bowden and Florida State take on Virginia, a team looking to avenge a huge loss to the Seminoles last season. College Football Primetime presented by Polaroid on ESPN tonight at 7:45 Eastern Time. Number 4 Florida State against Virginia. I believe Virginia was the first team ever to defeat Florida State in ACC play.
Mark, if you have 3rd and 12 and you make the commitment to rush 3 and drop 8, you got to drop to the sticks and let the ball be thrown in front of you. That time they jumped the underneath route. Stockel's just patient, waits for Brandon Williams to come across the middle. Easy pitch and catch.
Sets up the 1st and 10. Calhoun over the right side made a nice move. And Brian Calhoun, the transfer from Colorado, down to the 6-yard line. And his stuff last year in scout team practice became local legendary folklore. I mean, the way that he would kind of impersonate the opposing team's running backs.
Well, you know, we were talking to Brett Bielema about that, and Brett, of course, is slated to become the next head coach of Wisconsin. But to say, hey, imitate Lawrence Maroney, he'd go out and be Lawrence Maroney. He wasn't even being Brian Calhoun. he was putting on a mask and he would turn into somebody else.
2nd down and 4. Calhoun in motion last week, got over 100 yards receiving. Stockel. No signal for the touchdown. They're going to mark it just shy of the end zone. Inches away from the white stripe.
There's something I've learned about Big Ten quarterbacks. They're all tough guys. They're all very tough guys. This is one of them. John Stockel right here. Not thinking about diving, not thinking about sliding, putting his head down, trying to score. Good penetration by Minnesota's defensive line, but Stockel, nice burst through the hole. Look at him, put his head down, try to get a good call by the officials. Ball touches short.
That play reminiscent of the run to win the game against Michigan. 1st down and goal for the Badgers. 33 seconds to go in the period. Calhoun, touchdown, Wisconsin. His 12th of the year, 17th of his career. Well, Glenn Mason said that he really wishes that Calhoun would have never left Colorado.
What? Talk about Essler. Take a look at Raiola. Raiola says, hey, Chris, I can pull too. He gets his shoulders turned upfield, creating hole in space. Brian Calhoun can sniff it. He'll get it.
The extra point is good, and Wisconsin taking a 7-0 lead. Calhoun came into this ball game leading the nation, Chris. I love this stat. In total touches with 202. That number, of course, increasing since that time.
He does it with his hands, too, Mark. He's a tremendous pass receiver out of the backfield. Great natural runner. In fact, in the run down there to get Stockel set up for the fall to the 1-yard line, he makes the 8th man in the box miss in Tremaine Banks with just a little shake. But he has all the tools, all the weapons. He has speed, power, the whole shooting match. Key point in that drive, and something that needs to be brought out. The winner of this game is going to be successful on 3rd downs. If you're David Lockwood, defensive coordinator in Minnesota, you have them 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14. You should win those battles. But John Stockel, Brandon Williams connect over the middle. They're winning 3rd downs, which helps them.
And Chris, Calhoun in some very elite company right now, amongst the leaders in the NCAA in rushing. Memphis's D'Angelo Williams, #1, with almost 900 yards coming in, 885. And then it's Maroney in the #2 spot, approaching 1,000 yards on the season. Calhoun #3 at 849 coming into this contest. And he now has 7 consecutive games with a rushing touchdown as Brian White coaching up his running backs on the sidelines. Wallace watches it go into the end zone. They'll start off on their own 20-yard line when we come back from the studio. Scott?
Well, Mark, we showed you Ole Miss stuffing Alabama.
All right, Scott, first down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Morton's coming back in, and Mortensen, if you're just joining us, is a redshirt freshman. He's getting the start today because Brian Cupido is on the sidelines, the result of a shoulder injury to his throwing shoulder. He suffered that in the Michigan victory last week. Here's Maroney trying the left side of that offensive line, and Maroney bottled up at the 22-yard line. And let's go downstairs to Dave Ryan.
Mark, good start for Brian Calhoun with a touchdown run today for Wisconsin. He's 5'10", 194 pounds, and watching him from the sideline here, it's obvious he's not a big back. We asked his coach this week how he avoids wearing down. The answer, he's got excellent vision. Doesn't take a square hit. He minimizes those collisions like so many great backs do. He has the ability to position himself so he doesn't get hurt. That takes quickness, knowing blockers, and it takes natural ability. He's as tough as they come.
Yeah, David, you know, he had 5 touchdowns in his first game as a Badger. You wonder how he could top that act. He might have something in store. Back after this.
If you're going to go out and drink Guinness, remember, use common sense and always know when you've had your fill.
A simple way to remember it is, use Sac-We-Hif.
What?
Please drink responsibly from the brewers of Guinness.
Imagine a first kiss that has the passion of a lifetime behind it.
The first kiss was great.
This is something special. This is different than all the rest.
It felt so natural to be kissing him.
It was so natural. It was so good. And they're still good.
That's really the key, isn't it? To be matched so well that it just gets better with time.
When I saw her and looked into her eyes and you know, we hugged and had our first kiss. How do you describe that? I mean, it was
very magical. It just knocked me sideways.
Like electricity.
It's electricity. That's the only way I can describe it.
Oh my. It was something so amazing.
At eHarmony, we match singles based on 29 dimensions of compatibility because we want the magical experience of falling in love to last a lifetime.
When our lips met, it was like, this is the one I've been looking for.
That's how I felt too.
eHarmony.com. Log on today.
Is it true you do more brakes than anyone?
Absolutely. Is something burning?
Oh, those are Fred's old brakes.
Come to the experts in brakes and maintenance. The Midas Touch Maintenance Package. An oil change, tire rotation, and multi-point courtesy check, including brake check for just $29.95.
Trust the Midas Touch.
Campbell's Junkie presents tips from Mama McNabb.
Don't eat junky, eat chunky. Hearty Chunky New England clam chowder now comes in microwavable bowls.
New England, huh? Well, I like it anyway.
Campbell's Junkie, it fills you up right.
I'm Mark Jones. You're watching ESPN's coverage of college football. The longest running rivalry in college football is number 23 Wisconsin battles number 22 Minnesota. ESPN Game Plan features 15+ college football games each week. So if you can't find the big game you want this Saturday, there's a good chance it's on ESPN Game Plan. Don't miss the games you really want to see. Call your cable provider or go to ESPN.com keyword Game Plan. Due to time constraints, we'll be moving ahead in our coverage right after these messages.
Listen up. This is Darren. He's the newest member of the league.
Whoa, hold up. What can he do? Can he fly?
No.
You got superhuman strength though, right?
Come on, man. You got to be able to do something. Levitate, go through walls, stop.
I can do one thing.
Well, let's see it.
Dang!
You can room with me.
Hey.
A capacity crowd of 80,000 looks on as Olympian Dick Fosbury uses a whole new approach to the high jump. Fosbury successfully executes an unorthodox backward flip that propels him across the bar for an Olympic record and a gold medal. the 21-year-old champion sees his invention christened the Fosbury Flop.
That was October 20th, 1968.
Tonight on ESPN Classic at 7, covering sports from yesterday to today and back. Classic now. At 8, a heavyweight title bout featuring Ali and Fali. And at 10, our classic comedy block of Cheap Seats and Orlis. It's all tonight on ESPN Classic. Yesterday's thrillers are today's instant classics. West Virginia battles Louisville in a triple overtime shootout. Wisconsin stuns Minnesota, plus Penn State versus Michigan. It all adds up to a triple instant classic all day today on ESPN Classic.
America's favorite home gym is more affordable than ever. Now you can get the all-new Bowflex Extreme for just $19 a month. Call the number on your screen for a free DVD or video and check it out. Bowflex's Power Rod technology delivers results. Powerful arms, defined legs, a stronger chest, and a toned, sexy core. And owning a Bowflex home gym is so affordable. Great results are easy with a new Extreme. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, to get in the best shape of your life. The Extreme is built so well that we back it with an unrivaled 7-year warranty. And so effective, it comes with Bowflex's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Through this special offer, you can own one with no money down and just $19 per month. You can't get this Bowflex deal anywhere else. Call us for a free DVD or video, or visit us online and find out how to get your Bowflex for just $19 a month today.
Second down and 4, although I'm not sure that's going to hold in this Axe game. Maroney between the tackles is forward progress down to the 30-yard line, stopped by Zalewski.
Well, I mentioned in the open, Mark, that the winner of the Axe game, especially if a team that has the Axe loses a game, it's tradition that they run over and they storm the bench.
You surprised that there haven't been some fisticuffs in that
No,
kind of
I think they respect the tradition, and that's what makes it good. And, you know, we got to be careful in college football not to offend everybody. I mean, that's something that's been around for a long time. They want the Axe, let them come get it. They deserved it.
Hey, the Axe will be around long after you and I are gone, too. 3rd down and 1. Backs line up out of the eye. Gary Russell is the deep back. He gets the call, and Russell still on his feet, plowing forward. That's why, folks, his teammates call him Baby Earl. As in Earl Campbell, Watkins finally pulled him down, but he got the 1st down.
Talk about a straight line. He knew where he was going right away. He takes a straight line, follows Setterstrom right up in there, puts his feet, head down, legs driving, moving. You're not going to get him with one man if you don't close the gate in front of the ball, put your helmet on a helmet. He'll run through that.
Gary Russell, a 5'11" sophomore, gets the 1st down, and it's 1st and 10.
To know Joe Monty's out for Wisconsin starting defensive end.
Run it again to Russell. Time stopped up after a gain of about 2 yards down to the 18-yard line. You talk about Russell's leg strength and his size. He has some of the biggest legs on the team. You look at those thigh pads, Chris, and they are like Earl Campbell's, almost off to the side a little bit. 28-inch quadricep muscles. Wow.
And they're not heavy. They're light.
Yeah.
I mean, they're light legs.
Meanwhile, Joe Monty, the starting defensive end for Wisconsin, being attended to on the sidelines.
I always get nervous with a Secret Service earpiece in a guy's head and he's looking at you. That means that could be trouble.
Minnesota's run the ball 7 times to just 1 pass on this drive, make it 8. Russell breaks a tackle and a couple more. 1st and goal, Minnesota. A pickup of 15 that time by Russell. Alan Langford had a chance but missed the tackle for the Badgers.
Watch Ben Spaeth, the tight end, coming in on motion. Watch this big fella right here coming and take him out. This creates a short corner. Boom! I see it. And Lawrence Maroney, or Russell, vision. You talk about the 28 quadriceps. The guy tried to grab 28 quadriceps, can't get his arms around it. Russell just runs through the arm tackle. It's a great, well-executed play.
1st down and goal for the Golden Gophers. Maroney back in the ball game. Gets the handoff. Maroney pushed out of bounds at about the 3.
Flag in the area of holding, which is really not called a lot when it's a run like that. They usually let him go ahead and grab a little bit down in there.
Well, they got him this time. They're going to bring it back a few yards. Lawrence Maroney, the former Big Ten Freshman of the Year. And
holding number 58, offense.
10-yard penalty. Repeat. First down.
You know, for all of his star status, he still gets around campus on just a little scooter. You know, a little motor scooter. No big slab, no big Lincoln, no ride, SUV.
I'm sure Coach Mason would rather see him in one of those protected SUV tanks. Let's mark this penalty down too, because if nothing comes of this, this could be the third missed opportunity that the Gophers have lost.
First pushes it all the way back to the 13. Toss to the wide side of the field. Maroney couldn't turn it up and is pushed out of bounds. Back at the 13. Dedrick Rogers. And it'll be second down and goal for Minnesota. Although, Chris, sometimes you can almost like it. It can play to your advantage if you have more space working close to the goal line, right?
Well, if you're a team that's a spread offense, if you're a team that's a pound them, grind them, I think you would like to have the ball down on the 3, where you can feel where you can use your strength. You know, I talked to Brett Bielema before the game, Mark, and he said Roderick Rogers is going to have a big game right there. He took a great angle, maybe nice open field tackle.
11th play of the drive coming up for Minnesota. Complete. Ellerson stopped up. Good tackle at the 5 by Alan Langford. It's third down and goal from the 5 now, after they picked up 8 on that play.
Right there you see the arm strength of Mortensen. I mean, he threw a rope from opposite hash on a 3-step drop. And Ellerson made no mistake about that one. He was going to get 2 hands and catch the football. He had no choice, so it went right through him if he didn't catch him with his hands.
Tony Mortensen in arguably the biggest game of his career, making his first career start.
You got big receivers and big tight ends. They're all about 6'5" and above.
Russell and Maroney in the backfield, lining up out of the eye. Looking into the end zone. Touchdown! Spade. Tony Mortensen measured it, popped his arm and got it.
He makes it tough for you. Here's Spaeth here. Here, you're going to have 3 guys in the pattern. There's the motion guy in back. There's Spaeth coming to the corner, and Russell. He makes the hard throw. He has Russell all alone, but he goes to Spaeth, makes a difficult throw. It's a great play by Minnesota, set up by play action.
Extra point is good by Giannini. Mortensen with his first career touchdown. He figures, hey, no better time to shine than in my first start. We'll be back.
15 years ago, Saturn changed the rules of the car industry.
We promised no haggling,
No hassles. And cars that weren't just easy to buy, but to own. Today, our promise still stands.
On every 2006, we promised the safety of OnStar, standard for 1 year.
We promised the best highway gas mileage of any compact V6 SUV.
And on most models, we promised a lowered price.
The Saturn Total Value Promise.
You'll get more without paying more. We promise.
It's not a promotion, it's a promise.
I'm here to show you how the new Right Guard Extreme Power Stripe works. Let's say these guys are the Power Stripe. Red Rover, we call Billy over. And this guy's Odor. But now it's 25% stronger because we supercharged the Stripe with Dry Tech. Red Rover, we call T-O-Over. You do not want to be Odor. We call Japan over.
Yo, get more extreme, get Right Guard!
So the Dodgers are down to their last out, game 1 of the World Series. And look who's coming up. Kirk Gibson with 2 bad legs. You talk about a roll of the dice. This is it. High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
With 100% whole grain, low fat, and fiber, the Breakfast of Champions brings out the champion in you.
The impossible has happened.
Want to learn about all the new TVs? Circuit City makes it simple. Come to Circuit City this Sunday from 1 to 6 p.m. for our Home Entertainment Made Simple event. Get product demos on HD TV, home audio, and more, and talk to our experts about building the perfect home theater. Plus, get no interest until January 2007 on all TVs $299 and up. The Home Entertainment Made Simple event, this Sunday at Circuit City.
It's time for your chance to win one of 100 Philips HD TVs with DirecTV service for a year. Log on to 100yardblitz.com to enter. The code word is pigskin.
Yeah, I'd take that TV. Today's 100-yard blitz code word is pigskin. Hear the winner announced on Mike and Mike in the morning.
Morton down there Morton's talking to Masakowski, the backup today. Always good to have another pair of eyes looking at what you see.
Haney's kick comes down to the 12-yard line. That's Hampton, Zach Hampton, on a nice return here for Wisconsin. But there's a flag down at the 42-yard line, and they might bring this one back.
Ben Strickland has got to understand if you don't have the angle, don't take the block. Again, mental. Smart football player.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 3 of the receiving team. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Scott Reese, we got an axe to grind here. So does Barry Alvarez.
Well, Mark, we got a quick answer by the Buckeyes after Michigan State scored to make it 10-0. Troy Smith going up top and looking for Santonio Holmes. Great start for Smith. 4 of 4 for 107 yards on this touchdown, and it's 10-7 Michigan State just underway in the second quarter. Elsewhere, Albert Young with a 31-yard touchdown run. Iowa up 14-0 over Indiana. Guys.
All right, and as I mentioned, a very pivotal weekend in the Big Ten Conference. Logjam of teams with just one loss so far in conference play. Booker Stanley now in a tailback for the Badgers. Run the receiver screen and nothing doing to Brandon Williams. Brought down immediately, Chris, by Tremaine Banks.
Well, Brandon Williams has to sell the downfield move a little bit more. Tremaine Banks was never threatened downfield, thus he gets a great jump on the pass by Stocco.
Native of Columbus, Ohio, around your parts of the woods. 9:22 to go, and this is the 115th edition of the longest rivalry in all of college football. On both sides of the St. Croix River, the emotions and passions running hot today. We are about to set it off here. Second down and 12. Loss of 2 on the last play. Williams in motion. Takes the handoff. Brought down immediately at the 32. And Dave, great to have a messenger to deliver the history, huh?
Mark, no question about it. There's one assistant coach for Wisconsin who's been around this conference a long time. He's Jim Hubert, the offensive line coach for the Badgers, who's a part of this program now, and with Minnesota as well. He's an assistant here, too. 22 years, longest continuing tenured assistant in Big Ten history. He knows this rivalry more than anyone. In fact, on Mondays of Wisconsin-Minnesota week, he delivers a long history of players, coaches, all the staff to get them pumped up for the big game. He's really well-versed on the history, Mark.
Great messenger on 3rd down and 11. Heavy rush. Oh, great pass to Orr. Stocco made it happen, eluding the heavy heat. And Jonathan Orr with a first down out to the 45-yard line. Good pressure by Montgomery, but Orr picked up 13.
Again, Wisconsin making key plays on 3rd and long. Stocco right here. This is a veteran quarterback making a good decision. We talk about 1, 2, and 3 option. That's his 3rd option in Orr because he's short of the sticks. But Stocco knows where he is. Orr did a good job of recognizing the open area of the field, finding a way, and John did a nice job of eluding a rush and throwing across his body to Orr.
Coming off a career-high performance last week against Northwestern. And the thing that really changed John Stocco was that touchdown run to give them the win against Michigan. Scrambling again. Williams, what a catch at the 29. Airborne and landing without putting down the landing gear. Wow.
The Web Gem nominee right there.
26 yards, and that was a crash landing, Chris.
Well, you know, Brandon Williams to me is the heart and soul of this Wisconsin offense. We talk about Brian Calhoun, but Brandon Williams plays with passion and emotion. And you see he fell right on the football. But I'm telling you, John Stocco's slinging a rock like he's never slung it in his career. And the more he gets, the more confidence he gets, the more dangerous this offense becomes.
First down and 10 for the Badgers at the 29-yard line of Minnesota. Booker Stanley bouncing it outside. Stanley running hard, makes it near the 20-yard line. About 2 yards short of the first down. Can't underscore how important Booker Stanley is to Wisconsin's theme.
Well, again, we talk about Russell and Maroney. Well, you have Calhoun and Stanley just as potent. I'll tell you, Minnesota got lucky there. Palermo got away with a hold. He got away with a hold on Lipka, which enabled Stanley to get to the corner.
Lipka, the defensive end for the Gophers, former high school teammate of Brian Calhoun, who's back in the ballgame as the tailback. Stocco going to be sacked back at the 30-yard line by Kyle McKenzie. The 10th Gopher sack of the season.
Kyle McKenzie's moved from his weak side linebacker position to his middle linebacker position. You'll see right here. Watch Kyle come in on the nice stunt. It's kind of a delayed stunt, bypasses and closes. Now he's supposed to have Calhoun. He made a decision. That was a mistake, but it was an aggressive mistake, which you can't do on defense. Because if Stocco would have saw Calhoun sneak out, he's in for 6.
Sometimes better just to react than to think too much,
exactly. See ball, get ball.
Pretty simple. 3rd down and 8. Stocco for Orr. Batted away at the last moment. Tremaine Banks. And it's 4th down and 8. On comes the field goal unit.
I'll tell you, that's a nice job by Tremaine Banks battling the 6'4" Jonathan Orr. They're running a skinny post right here. Watch Banks close. He sets him up with the outside move, and Banks gets in between him and the body and rises at the same time as the ball. Close to getting that hand on there, but a good no call by the officials.
Field goal attempt, this time coming from Taylor Meloff. They're going to call it about a 44-yarder. Plenty of leg, and it's good. Didn't look all that happy with it. David Lockwood's defense gives up the field goal. And Tremaine Banks batting away a potential touchdown to Jonathan Orr. Banks saying, no way, you're not coming in my kitchen and cooking for free. We'll be back after this.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by ADT Security Services. Go to ESPN.com to enter the All-Defensive Team Challenge.
I'm worried about leaving my family alone when I traveled. What if something happened? That's why I got ADT.
I came home one night and found a burglar in my house. And we live in a nice neighborhood. That's why I got ADT.
And now you can get the peace of mind that comes from America's #1 security company. Call now and save $100 off the regular price when you buy ADT's family package. Why worry when you have the security of ADT? ADT, always there.
I do enjoy drinking Guinness at a tailgating party.
Yes, and I've discovered that the local custom is to wear cheese on your head. So, to fit in, I brought along some hunks of Limburger.
Limburger cheeseheads? Brilliant!
Brilliant!
I'm not so sure we're fitting in.
I smell feet.
Whatever the occasion, drink responsibly.
Brilliant!
Cholesterol comes from 2 sources. It's not only from that footlong Frank, but from your Grandpa Frank. And not just from that Virginia ham, but from your Aunt Ginny, too. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Ask your doctor about Vytorin. A healthy diet is important, but when it's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin treats the 2 sources of cholesterol, food and what your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin was proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Follow a healthy diet and ask your doctor about adding Vytorin. For the 2 sources of cholesterol, remember the name Vytorin. That's Vytorin.
Minnesota's #1 quarterback, Brian Cupido, not playing today because of a right shoulder injury. Next week they have a bye, so that shoulder getting some time to heal, but look at his numbers so far. 10 touchdown passes versus 6 interceptions. Mortensen in at starting quarterback this week in his place. Maroney cuts it back. He can make you miss. Maroney with a nice run for the first down at the 33-yard line.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Budweiser Select. Brewed for a crisp taste that finishes clean. Be selective. And Panasonic, America's best-selling plasma TV brand. Panasonic, ideas for life.
On 1st down and 10 for Minnesota. Mortensen on the waggle, wide open, has his tight end, Postumus. Out at midfield to the 50-yard line, brought down by Stellmacher.
Yeah, that's what Mitch Browning, the offensive coordinator of the Golden Gophers, wants to get done. He wants to give the easy passes, set up by the play action right here. When you are able to run the football, this works for you because you have Wisconsin and Stellmacher jumping to run on the pitch, which allows Postumus to get into the flat.
Easy pitch. Offensive coordinator. Yeah.
Been with Glenn for 20 years.
Lawrence Maroney back in the ball game. Mortensen going up top for Ellerson, and he's picked off. Rogers on the overthrow brings it back to the 41-yard line, and Glenn Mason is looking for a penalty against Wisconsin, but he's not going to get it. That's the Badgers' 7th interception of the season.
We'll see Roderick Rogers in his experience playing a perfect 2 deep, and that's a nice job of underneath coverage. See Roderick Rogers, see if he steps out of bounds on a return. Yeah, right there, the ball should be marked back. But this is a great angle by Roderick Rogers, playing the ball and not the man, turning into the receiver.
Verl Sell is our technical director, technical advisor up in the booth today from the Big Ten Conference. He was telling me before the conference that before the game, that things were going very well with respect to replay officiating this year.
Michael Guanu made a great job of playing that cover 2 in disregarding. He had no threat, so he runs underneath Ellerson, which allowed Roderick Wright to take the proper angle.
Let's take one more look at this, Chris. I think you're right. He did definitely step out of bounds.
Should step out right about at the 22, I believe.
Yeah, his foot's on the line. It's just a matter of where that is. You can't really tell where that is from that angle, although up here it was the 22-yard line.
Well, again, this is where replay does make a difference. Believe me, the officials don't take anything personal. They want to get it right.
We're going to show you from the side view where the ball should be marked. Here's a better look at the panoramic view.
I said the 22 is probably the 17-yard line.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there he's out.
That's the step. Should be the 17. But still a turnover by Minnesota. Mortensen almost seemed predestined, like he was determined to throw it there the entire play, Chris.
That's a great point, Mark, and very well observed, because when he is on, he's locked into his receivers. And that was a max protection, meaning he only had one man in the route. And he was going to Ellerson all the way. Now, if he's not there, he was covered well. He was covered high, he was covered low. That's when he should use his long, strong arm and throw it into the cheerleader section down at the 10.
After further review, the intercepted pass, the player stepped out of bounds at the 18-yard line. It'll be Wisconsin's ball, 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 5:16.
And that's
5:16.
I think it's a 17.
Chris, that's exactly why we have instant replay. You can't say enough about the courage of the Big Ten to eschew the status quo of previous years and go to a replay system with the experiment last year. And this is why it pays off right there when he steps out of bounds at the 17.
That's a 17. They gave him an extra yard. Now, it should be pointed out that the Big Ten doesn't use all the angles of it. They use TiVo. Different type of replay systems. That's where I'd like to see a universal replay system involved in all of college football.
On 1st down and 10, Calhoun. Let's go back to Reese Davis. Hey, they handed it off to Reese.
All right, Mark, you know, the last 2 years, Corey Randolph has thrown late touchdown passes to beat Boston College for Wake Forest. He's getting started early this time, already up 10-0. Randolph finds Nate Morton, and in rainy Boston, 17-0. Wake's on top in the second.
All right, Reese back here, 2nd down and 5 after that Calhoun run. 4:40 to go in the first half. And got the first down out of the 33, but there's a flag down at the 26-yard line, so hold on a minute.
This is a little bit surprising, Mark, in the fact that officials are called holding penalties.
Number 53, offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
On runs, they usually let them battle inside. And unless it's blatant, they let it go. Let's take a look at it. Right here, so Donovan Raiola right here, the big center. He's got his hands inside. He's got his hands inside. Hey, man. Let's play football. Let's play football. To me, that's a nice job of Raiola keeping his hands inside. You got to let him play.
For those of you that have thought Barry Alvarez may have put it on cruise control after 16 years, evidence exhibit A, not the case. And this his last Paul Bunyan axe game as head coach of Wisconsin. Under pressure, incomplete near the 30-yard line, intended for Williams. ABC's college football double dip continues at 3:30 Eastern. Penn State, Michigan, Colorado, Texas, Oregon State, Cal, and Louisville, West Virginia. For those of you on the West Coast, you'll see San Diego State against Utah at 4 Pacific. Check the local listings for the games available in your area. Back to Barry Alvarez. He made sure that his team coming into this game appreciated the history of this rivalry. They had a loop on video running in the locker room throughout the course of the week since Monday. 3rd down and 15. Booker Stanley in the ball game for the Badgers.
Wisconsin's been able to convert on their 3rd and 10 plus, past 2.
Stocco to pass. Stanley underneath, but short of the 1st down at the 43-yard line. Lipka, Calhoun's former high school teammate, making the stop. With under 4 minutes to go here in the 1st half, Minnesota's defense holds.
Well, at that time, they did a better job in their 3rd down defense where they got depth in their drops, forcing the underneath route and breaking up on the football. There's Coach Lockwood. He doesn't need an excitement pill. He comes with that excitement.
He doesn't need any more caffeine than he already might have. On 4th and 6, Bush's 2nd punt of the day is a high spiral. Payne returns it out to the 42-yard line for Minnesota with 3:19 to go in the 1st half. A 12-yard return on the 49-yard punt, and Minnesota with good field position here. And this is the longest running series in all of college football. They played 115 times. Next to that, you might be asking, well, it's Missouri and Kansas. We're glad to tell you. They played 113 times. After that, Nebraska and Kansas fall into line at the 3rd longest running rivalry. And tied for the 3rd longest running rivalry is Texas and Texas A&M. Remember, Glenn Mason was the former head coach at Kansas. Is one of just a few coaches to win Coach of the Year in 3 different conferences. Lawrence Maroney out to the 47-yard line, got about 4. Let's go back to Reese Davis.
All right, Mark, you guys know what kind of offense Northwestern can put on the field, and Purdue hasn't put much of a defense out there. Brett Bazinet would take advantage, finding Eric Peterman, who perhaps will go down the field in his urban sombrero. Seinfeld reference. Northwestern up 7-0.
Boy, Purdue really struggled. Losing last week to Iowa. This is Maroney out near midfield at the 50. And I mentioned this is a very critical and pivotal week in the conference. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams with 1 loss in the conference. Michigan with 2 losses at 1 and 2.
Right there, you see the separation. And Mark, at the beginning of the year, I thought there were 8 teams that could compete for the Big Ten championship. Penn State wasn't one of them, and Michigan was. So that's a little bit of difference. Michigan 2 losses in the conference.
Here's Maroney. Plowing straight ahead, got the 1st down at the 45-yard line. And Chris, everyone talked about, in the Big Ten, hey, Purdue doesn't have Ohio State and Michigan on their schedule. Look for them to do well. They have 11 starters on defense coming back, and everyone thought they would be in the picture at this point, and they seem to be almost out of it at this point.
Joe Tiller made a great point to us last week. He said just because you have the same players back does not mean you have the same team back, and that can go opposite way if you have new players.
Mortensen on the quick 3-step drop completes it to Wheelwright. Wheeling and dealing all the way down to the 13-yard line.
Well, here's a guy that's kind of been underused a little bit in Minnesota's offense, but he is a threat. He's Ernie Wheelwright out there. It's a nice little 3-step hitch. And you see at 6'5", he's a big target. It's an easy throw, no decision for Mortensen. And there you see Wheelwright. Get the wheels out, no pun intended, to make something happen with rack yards. Run after catch.
First and 10 from the 14. That's Russell in the ball game, running into the boundary. Brought down at the 11-yard line. Got about 3 on the play. Second down and 7 to go for Minnesota. And Minnesota with something to prove coming to this ball game. Mainly in the respect, Chris, some people wondering whether they can handle prosperity. They defeat Purdue, go to Penn State and lose. Last week, a huge win, the first one since '86 against Michigan. How do they come out and play here?
Well, I think if they would have lost against Michigan, and it's easy to say same old Minnesota, but they went on the road in the big house, took the brown jug. Difference.
Russell, straight ahead. That's where he does his best. It's like wrestling a big old grizzly in there, isn't it? Down to the 6-yard line, Gary Russell.
I do the call because it's just like the strength, you know, and if you ever lift weights and you got a lot of weights, there's a lot of noises come out your mouth. And right there, strength by Gary Russell.
Lawrence Maroney coming into the ball game now. Russell stays in. This has been perhaps the year of the breakthrough so far for Glenn Mason. 2-0 against ranked opponents this year. Looking to make it 3 here against Wisconsin. On 3rd and short, 3 to go. Ellerson in motion. Maroney gets the call. And this one blown up early in the play. Short of the first down at the 7-yard line. Brett Bell made a nice play on that with the penetration. And it's 4th down with 20 seconds to go in the first half.
Wisconsin did a great job of the stringing out of play, making Lawrence Maroney run the hump. Well, what's the hump, Chris? It means he has to go in, then lose yards to gain yards. And when you have the speed of Wisconsin's defense, the pursuit was able to catch him. It's set up by making him run the hump or getting penetration in the backfield, making Lawrence lose ground before he gains ground.
With a second to go in the first half, Minnesota calls timeout. We're going to take a short break and come right back.
Some crook went dumpster diving and stole your identity. Now it could take you years of hard work to get it back. Unless your home insurance includes Allstate's new identity restoration coverage, then a dedicated team will make the phone calls, fill out the forms, help restore your credit rating. You can't always prevent identity theft, but you can protect yourself. That's Allstate stand. Are you in good hands?
It's college football, and now it's live on ESPN Classic. Live games have a new home. Saturday, the Wyoming Cowboys and the Colorado State Rams clash in their annual border war. Who will take home the coveted bronze boot? Tomorrow's classics can now be seen today on ESPN Classic. College football has a new tradition. Wyoming versus Colorado State live, 3 Eastern Saturday, and this game is only on ESPN Classic.
From Studio C in Industry City, Davis. Our first guest needs little introduction, so ladies and gentlemen, please welcome George Hamilton. How are you, sir? Please have a seat. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. You know, I got to tell you, that TV in the green room is spectacular.
That is no TV, George. That is the award-winning Dell 42-inch HD plasma TV. And we noticed you noticing. Freddie, show the green room cam footage.
The green room cam?
Oh, yeah, we're sneaky devils here.
Look at you. Those features. That true-to-life color. You're stunning.
Yeah, the Dell plasma TV. An amazing picture at an amazing price.
Oh, the TV. TV's great, too. It's spectacular.
Spectacular, George. It's a Dell!
Davis, right now, save $400 on a Dell 42-inch HD plasma TV. Plus, get free shipping. To get the most out of your home entertainment, add a Dell Media Center PC starting at only $699. It's entertainment made easy with Dell and Microsoft.
Looking into the eyes of Jason Giannini, who made a game-winning field goal last week at Michigan of 30 yards. This one a little bit closer. It's going to be about 26.
A new holder, Mark. Cupido was the holder.
Out with the shoulder injury. Giannini knocks it through to knock the game at 10 apiece.
Tonight on ESPN Classic at 7, covering sports from yesterday to today and back. Classic now. At 8, a heavyweight title bout featuring Ali and Fali. And at 10, our classic comedy block of Cheap Seats and Orless. It's all tonight on ESPN Classic.
like you do with the reach of an all-star, the power of a cleanup hitter, or the vision of a linebacker.
What's this? Bam!
With ESPN HD and ESPN2 HD, you'll see the nation's premier events in sports like never before.
Oh, man!
You'll feel the action with high definition.
That's incredible!
Go baseline to blue line to sideline. And once you see,
look at the speed!
Once you feel it, you'll agree the time is now. If you don't have ESPN HD and ESPN2 HD, it's time to step up. The picture is clear. With ESPN HD and ESPN2 HD, once you're there, you'll never go back.
Turn off the Ambilight function on your Philips Flat TV, and it's like going back in time. The only flat TV with Ambilight from Philips. You'll never go back to ordinary TV.
Well, now, where's the fire, boys? Oh, fresh toasted sandwiches. Well, get those babies home before they get cold.
Fresh toasted sandwiches from Subway restaurants.
I'm hungry. You hungry?
Sponsors of Greg Biffle and Car 16.
If you're gonna go out and drink Guinness, remember, use common sense and always know when you've had your fill.
A simple way to remember it is, you sack we hif.
What?
Please drink responsibly. From the Brewers of Guinness.
Halftime here in Minneapolis, the Paul Bunyan Axe game between Minnesota and Wisconsin, the longest running rivalry in college football, the 115th edition of this game. The ESPN Game Plan features 15+ college football games each week. So if you can't find the big game you want to see on Saturday, there's a good chance it's on Game Plan. Game Plan is available on TV and online. To order, call your pay-per-view provider or go to ESPN.com, keyword Game Plan. We'll be back with second half action right after these messages.
I do enjoy drinking Guinness at a tailgating party.
Yes, and I've discovered that the local custom is to wear cheese on your head. So, to fit in, I brought along some hunks of Limburger.
Limburger cheeseheads? Brilliant!
Brilliant!
I'm not so sure we're fitting in.
I smell feet.
Whatever the occasion, drink responsibly.
Brilliant!
A capacity crowd of 80,000 looks on as Olympian Dick Fosbury uses a whole new approach to the high jump. Fosbury successfully executes an unorthodox backward flip that propels him across the bar for an Olympic record and a gold medal. The 21-year-old champion sees his invention christened the Fosbury Flop.
That was October 20th, 1968.
Bye. See you tonight.
Love you.
Love you too.
Oh, okay, that's my foot.
I'd State Farm agent LaDonna Young Hansen. This is a true story. We didn't know what kind of claim it was, because was it going to be an auto claim or a homeowner's claim? Having one agent for all your insurance needs has its advantages.
And she handled all the paperwork?
In minutes.
She made the process totally painless.
Well, not totally. I mean,
Okay.
Nobody takes care of you like State Farm. Trust us with all your insurance needs, and we'll save you some money, too. Call an agent today.
Like a good neighbor.
State Farm is there.
You're pretty. Waiting long?
Yeah, and I'm late.
No car, huh?
Bad credit.
I got a car. Hey, I can't get financing. Sure you can. It's easy. Just call 1-800-BAR-NONE. If you need car financing, even if you have bad credit, 1-800-BAR-NONE could get you approved in minutes. 1-800-BAR-NONE? You can? I am? Really? Scintillating. Need a car? Call 1-800-BAR-NONE. Everyone deserves a second chance, bar none. Call now.
1986. Classic.
All right, Reese, back here for the start of the third quarter in the battle for Paul Bunyan's axe. A couple of teams that average combined 78 points per game right now with just a combined total of 20. Time now for our Napa game track, and that's what they're playing for. Paul Bunyan's legendary axe, a symbol of strength and dominance, and early in the ball game, blown opportunities by Minnesota. Wisconsin had a 10-7 lead, and then Lawrence Maroney with some key runs for Minnesota offensively, and Maroney already with 100 yards in the ball game, and so much still to play out in this rivalry. I'm Mark Jones along with Chris Spielman, Dave Ryan down in the sidelines, and who would have ever thought, Chris, that we'd see a defensive type of battle like this?
Well, I think both teams' strength is stopping the run, but statistically, Minnesota has dominated the football game. Now, if you're Wisconsin, you got one of the top running backs in the country in Brian Calhoun. He has 14 yards, I believe, on 7 carries. They have to find him a way to get him involved in the offense to be effective in the second half.
A much different first half from a year ago in this rivalry when Wisconsin led 31-0 at halftime. A very short kickoff that time by Giannini. And Wisconsin going to have the ball at the 35-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Dave Ryan.
All right, Mark, thanks a lot. You remember you and Chris in the booth earlier in the game were talking about Minnesota's missed opportunities. Well, Glenn Mason told me at halftime he was very impressed with the way his team settled down and came back from missing some great chances, some bad penalties, and dropped balls. As for Barry Alvarez on the Wisconsin side, he wants to establish the run offensively. A lot more TOP, time of possession. That means grinding out a victory. He hopes using Brian Calhoun in the backfield. He thinks the pass game is wide open. Defensively, says his secondary's got to tackle better, Mark.
All right, and so far the defense ahead of where they were last week, albeit just statistically maybe. Calhoun was bottled up for just 14 yards in the first half. A nice run near the first down marker at the 45-yard line. Time now for the Ruby Tuesdays first half statistics. The numbers that jump out at the page, off the page at you, are the Minnesota turnovers. Just one, but when you factor in a couple of other blown opportunities, untimely penalties, they could lead by as many as 10 points to 2 touchdowns in this game.
They had a drop touchdown pass, and they had a return fumble for a touchdown, and both of them were mental errors. And the drop touchdown pass, Ellerson went up with one hand instead of 2, and they were in illegal formation on their punt team that cost them a touchdown off of a muff punt.
On 2nd down and 2 for Wisconsin. They go to Calhoun again, and this time stopped up near the line of scrimmage. Going to be about a yard shy of the first down. Number 6, Alex Daniels, making the stop for the Gothers.
What's clear to me with Coach Alvarez, and Dave Ryan hit on it on his report, wants to come out and establish the running game. They were the John Stocco show in the first half, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But for them to be effective, they got to get number Calhoun more than 2.8 yards per carry.
It's not often, Chris, that you see those kind of numbers by Calhoun in the first half, and Wisconsin losing the battle of time of possession. 3rd down and short for the Badgers on this, their opening drive of the third quarter. Presley in motion. It's Calhoun. And a late lunge might put him close, but I think he came up short of the first down marker. John Pavelski made the stop for David Lockwood's defense.
We talk about making guys run the hump. That makes them lose ground before they gain ground. Anthony Montgomery does a great job of driving Donovan Raiola into the backfield, forcing Calhoun to change his course and allow the pursuit of the defense to catch.
The Bush into punt for the Badgers. He's going to be standing on his own 30. 3rd in the nation coming in punting-wise. And that's Logan Payne for Minnesota standing at his own 12. The Bush with a high spiral. Oh, he's going to get a great bounce. Couldn't have done it any better with a pitching wedge. Stick and stay at the 6-yard line. A 50-yard blast by DeBush. Well, Florida State takes on Virginia tonight in a key ACC game, college football primetime, presented by Polaroid on ESPN tonight at 7:45 Eastern Time. Number 4 Florida State against unranked Virginia. And quarterback Drew Weatherford leads all freshman quarterbacks in the nation with over 1,200 yards passing this season. That was a position that held a lot of questions for the Seminoles at the start of the season. Speaking of questions at quarterback, Tony Mortensen answering some of those in the first half. This time handing it off to Maroney. And he's stopped up by Dontez Sanders. Sanders, the guy that you'll hear talking the most defensively and exhorting the Wisconsin fans that made the trip here to Minneapolis. Out of Ohio, Bedford, Ohio. His brother plays at Ohio State. Team leader in tackles with 44 coming in. It's 2nd down and 9.
So they like to isolate Ellerson down here.
Come the other way with Maroney, a huge gaping hole. Maroney still on his feet and good blocks downfield. The double deuce is on the loose. Turbo time. Touchdown. Maroney flexing his muscles in a big way, giving Minnesota a 6-point lead, a 93-yard gallop across the turf.
Well, what makes a great running back is vision. And you're going to see vision by Lawrence Maroney.
His 8th touchdown of the season, Chris.
Watch this. Here you go. You're going to see the offensive line. There's the vision in the hole. Cutback. Guess what? I'm going untouched. Not only do I have vision, but I have the speed. What is it, Mark? Talk to the feet because the hand's not listening.
You got it, baby. Back right after this.
I'm Josh Elliott. Join me for Classic Now, where we take today's breaking sports news and give it to you with a deep perspective and backstory. Classic Now, where the past is always present.
7 and 11 p.m. every weeknight, only on ESPN Classic.
Yesterday's thrillers are today's instant classics. West Virginia battles Louisville in a triple overtime shootout. Wisconsin stuns Minnesota, plus Penn State versus Michigan. It all adds up to a triple instant classic all day today on ESPN Classic.
Own a timeshare, turn it into cash.
Timeshares only got us our full asking price before our next monthly payment was due.
Own a campground membership, turn it into cash.
Timeshares only sold our campground membership fast and for the price we wanted.
Call now and we'll send you absolutely free this information kit, including 10 secrets to buying, selling, and renting timeshares. Timeshares Only is the nation's largest, #1 most successful timeshare agency.
We represent properties from the biggest names in the timeshare industry.
When it comes to selling, renting, or buying timeshares, no one comes close to Timeshares Only.
With over $2 billion of timeshares sold in the last 6 months, now's the perfect time to sell, rent, or buy. And no one sells more timeshares than we do.
You owe it to yourself to work with the best. Timeshares Only, the most trusted name in timeshares.
Call 1-800-576-0863 to sell, rent, or buy your timeshare and get your free information kit. Don't delay. Call 1-800-576-0863.
I'm Mark Jones. You're watching ESPN's coverage of college football. The longest-running rivalry in college football is number 23 Wisconsin battles number 22 Minnesota. ESPN Game Plan features 15-plus college football games each week. So if you can't find the big game you want this Saturday, there's a good chance it's on ESPN Game Plan. Don't miss the games you really want to see. Call your cable provider or go to ESPN.com keyword Game Plan. Due to time constraints, we'll be moving ahead in our coverage right after these messages.
If you're going to go out and drink Guinness, remember, use common sense and always know when you've had your fill.
A simple way to remember it is, use Sagwihif.
What?
Please drink responsibly. From the brewers of Guinness.
I own this marathon station, and I'm proud to be part of this community.
That's why at my marathon station, we treat you the way we would want to be treated.
It's like neighbor helping neighbor around here, and I love that.
We know what our customers want. We see these people every day.
It may sound simple, but we work hard to serve you better.
That's the American spirit. And I believe you'll find that at Marathon.
Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
I wanted to find someone that I would be happy with forever.
You find someone like that you want to spend the rest of your life with them, that's incredible.
It is incredible, and it's happening every day at eHarmony.com.
With eHarmony, we got compatibility and we have chemistry.
Experience the power of chemistry and compatibility on eHarmony.com. It starts with your personality profile, a $40 value, yours free when you log on to eHarmony.com.
As was the case last week when they were torched for 674 yards against Northwestern. When a big play occurred, he said his guys didn't know how to react. Communication lines weren't as good as they should have been. His 2 key points a moment ago, I know it wasn't done on purpose. What do we have to do to correct it? He's trying to be as encouraging as possible, but this is a very key point of the game, Mark, for the Wisconsin defense.
Yeah, sure is. Northwestern, Dave, scored on 7 consecutive possessions at one point last week as they wore down a little bit. 2nd down and 1. Russell is bringing the hammer this time. Met just shy of the 30, but apparently enough to get the first down.
Well, I'm going to tell you what they have to do is they got to start winning the battle up front with their defensive linemen. First of all, it's one thing. They cannot get driven off the ball. If they can hold their ground or create penetration, that allows linebackers to come up and make tackles 2 and 3 yards from the line of scrimmage as opposed to 5 and 6 yards, which Minnesota's doing right now.
1st down and 10. Maroney back into the ball game now for Russell. 2 tight end formation for the Gophers. Handed off to Maroney. Maroney going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage at about the 32-yard line. And you can't say enough about the effort of that guy, number 14, Dante Sanders, today. In on another stop. He came into the game as the leading tackler. Now, how many times do you see him exhorting his teammates to get on up and pump up the volume?
You know, Mark, he's right now on that defense. He's the only one that's playing with passion.
I know you appreciate that.
Why I do, because I've seen the other guys and they're tired. But Dantes is a great conditioned athlete. He's playing with passion, trying to charge his guys up emotionally.
Under 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Maroney the single back. Play fake. Mortensen wisely throws it away. He was under some heavy heat that time from Matthew Shaughnessy, a true freshman. But back to Maroney. The meter running at 194 yards rushing, still in the ball game. Lost a couple on that last play, but not on this one. That was earlier in the first half, and then a few moments ago breaking a 94-yard run for a touchdown. Power, speed. You ask offensive coordinator Mitch Browning. He says, I would not trade him for any running back in the country, including Mr. Bush out on the West Coast. 3rd down and 12. Out of the backfield, a dangerous pass. And it was dropped by Maroney. It'll be 4th down coming up for Minnesota. They started this drive off in good field position, but now end up in a punting situation.
That was a great job of Matt Shaughnessy coming off of his pass rush and getting in the throwing lane and vision of Lawrence Maroney.
Long field to send in a field goal unit. Giannini, his only miss this year has been from 51 yards out. He's got a couple misses, but the longest he's made has been from 49. Has plenty of leg. And he got it. Jason Giannini gives Wisconsin a 10-point deficit to deal with now. With several generations of his family members watching here in attendance. Jason, not terrible on this one, just right.
This ESPN Instant Classic is presented by Saturn.
way out. The thoroughly redesigned 250 horsepower Saturn Vue. Saturn.
Fall in love with the rich, bold flavor of Dr. Pepper. One taste, and you get it.
There's something about you, baby. I can't get enough. There's something about you, baby. I got you looking at me. I'm gonna call you bluff. There's something about you.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. It takes a man to be a dad.
To the morning light.
Built strong. Built comfortable. Built right. Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
A little black dress is always in style, but even a little dandruff shows. My old dandruff shampoo wasn't into black, so I switched to Selsun Blue.
Doctor recommended for flakes and itch with All-in moisturizers for healthier hair and scalp.
Never wear black without the blue. Selsun Blue.
I'm Mark Jones along with Chris Spielman and Dave Ryan. You're watching ESPN's coverage of college football. Number 23, Wisconsin battling number 22, Minnesota for the Paul Bunyan Axe from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Now, due to time constraints, we're moving ahead in our coverage. Calhoun came into this game the number 5 rusher in the country. On 1st and 10, gets another opportunity. And bottled up back at the 45-yard line. We talked about David Lockwood and his excitement really helping this defense. They came a long way, and Lockwood did not really politic for the job. He interviewed with Glenn Mason late in the winter around February and really gave Coach Mason his big picture vision, which endeared him to the head coach. And it's been a nice marriage so far. And let's go downstairs to Dave.
You want it?
Dave?
Well, David Lockwood is a lot of fun to watch here on the sideline, Mark. After this play, we'll tell you more about how emotional he can get. A little more on the background behind it, too.
You got it. 2nd and 10 with Orr in motion. Wide open underneath, Calhoun. Couple of nice moves down to the 35 and back down to Dave.
Well, it tells us as a player, Mark, at West Virginia, he was on that 88 Mountaineer team that played Notre Dame for the national championship. He wasn't that emotional, but now he gets his pump with some of his players. He tells us he loves being down on the sideline, gives him a chance to look his defenders right in the eye and find out what they're feeling. The defense really feeds off of him. Remember that Purdue overtime game early in the season you guys had a chance to do? He was so emotional. He got emails from old family and friends he hadn't heard from in years about how funny he is to watch.
Hey, whatever works. On 1st and 10, and on a scale of 1 to 10, he says that they revamped that defense about an 8, making it much more simple for the guys to play. Here's Calhoun down to the 31-yard line. Chris, it sounds a little bit trite, cliche-ish, but what does he mean in terms of simplifying things specifically?
Well, you don't have as many adjustments. You line yourself up in your sound. The one thing you want to be as a defense is sound. That means everybody has the right gaps, and the problem Wisconsin was having last week and a little bit today is lack of communication. Well, I'm sure he wanted to make sure communication was good amongst his defense. And the other thing is, I asked him this question yesterday, is the defense starting to take your personality? He said, almost. They didn't against Penn State, he said, but they did last week against Michigan.
On 2nd down and 5, a bunch formation to the left. Hand off to Booker Stanley with a nice hold. And Stanley down to the 23-yard line. The Badgers moving the chains. Let's take a look at today's Under Armour advantage. And the running back story. Calhoun doing a little bit better here in the second half, now with 41 yards. Maroney with 192 on the other side of the field.
Well, this is Wisconsin football. I mean, they've made a determination that they're going to come out and stick with their game plan. Even their first 2 series were 3 and out. They're still sticking with their game plan and starting to pound Minnesota. And they're winning the battle up front.
10th play of the Wisconsin drive with Booker Stanley in the backfield. Play fake by Stockwell. Little pump fake, which freezes the defense, and Stocco tiptoes out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Stocco with some good speed and good agility and strength. He actually was the runner-up in Wisconsin's slam dunk contest preseason a couple of years ago. Got some hops, too.
Well, the biggest thing that he has, Mark, there was never a question on John Stocco's ability to play quarterback, but there was a little bit of a question on his confidence. And even to this day, he threw a bad pass at the end of the game at Northwestern, but he had his best day as a quarterback, and his confidence grew, and I see that confidence is continuing today.
Yeah, he's already passed for more touchdowns this year than he did all of last season. 2nd down and 5 for the Badgers. Little counter draw to Calhoun. Touchdown. And there's a flag down on the play. Stands, Minnesota's lead will be down to 4 points.
After the score, personal foul, number 15 of the defense. That 15-yard penalty will be administered on the kickoff. Resolve the play, touchdown.
Foul is against Jamal Harris. Eloff in for the extra point, which would cut the Minnesota lead to just 3 points. With a little under 4 minutes to go in another storied edition of Wisconsin against Minnesota.
This is a counter trap, Mark. You're going to see 2 pullers coming from the backside. And a way to stop this play is you have to get penetration and knock off the blockers. When the blockers are able to get upfield and get a hat on a hat, Brian Calhoun's too good. He'll make the unblocked guy miss. And you see Brandon Williams, excuse me, getting a block as receivers blocking downfield.
There's the late hit by Jamal Harris, 3 yards deep in the end zone.
That's a little ticky-tack. That's ticky-tack. If he gave him a bump, if he was going to hit him, hit him.
Calhoun able to keep his composure, remaining unflappable without retaliating. Letting his play do the talking. His 13th rushing touchdown this season and the 18th of his career here at Wisconsin. Actually, 18th of his career in all.
He's got great shiftiness.
Well, the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia is the biggest reference guide ever published on the history of the sport. Read about profiles, records, statistical leaders, fight song lyrics for all 119 Division I programs. Box scores for every major bowl game ever played. Vote breakdowns for every Heisman race. A complete list of every year's consensus All-Americans and more. Available now wherever books are sold. Find a couple of nice chapters on Minnesota against Wisconsin in that encyclopedia. What does Lawrence Maroney have to say now with 3:55 to go in the 3rd quarter? His team leading by a tenuous 3 points. They tack on the 15-yard penalty. And Wisconsin will kick off from midfield at the 50.
Now, I don't drive it through the end zone, Mark. I try to high pop it, let my defense run down. So obviously, they don't have a long way to run. We try to pin them that way.
Eloff hangs it high and through the back of the end zone. Let's go back to the studio with Reese Davis.
All right, Mark, you can go ahead and put away the milk cartons. There has been a Ted Ginn Jr. sighting. Michigan State and Ohio State. Troy Smith finding Ginn. And remember, Ginn really burst on the scene against the Spartans last year. Very reminiscent of a year ago. The Buckeyes have seized momentum. They're up by 4 in the 3rd.
All right, Reese, we talked about Brian Calhoun, Chris, leading the nation in touches coming into this ball game. It's easy to say this, but if I'm Coach Tressel at Ohio State, I would give Teddy Ginn the ball every time. I'd let him touch it every other play.
I think, that's
reverses, whatever.
But again, receivers' success is direct correlation to the quarterback's success.
Mortensen on the toss on 1st and 10. Maroney cuts it upfield. Nice straight arm on number 22, Rogers. And he got the 1st down out of bounds at about the 35.
That really should have been a no play because Zalewski from his middle linebacker spot has a clear shot at Maroney. Again, you're taking poor angles. Watch now. He's going to close the gate. Where? Behind the ball. He fell for the stutter step, and you cannot tackle Lawrence Maroney with a half a man. Get your head across the front of the man, take the angle, and go take your shot. Don't break down on him. He'll put you on his highlight film.
Picked up 15 that time. Mortensen, quick three-step drop. A little contact and a flag now coming on the far side of the field against Iwuagwu.
This is where challenges have to be met, Mark. We talked about this game, and it's a slobber knocker feast. That's what it is. There's still, I mean, Wisconsin tried to come out fancy, throwing the ball.
Interference, number 27 of the defense. That's a spot foul with automatic first down.
But what Minnesota does, their passing game's three-step and bootleg. That's what they do. But they're able to run the ball with such efficiency, and I believe Wisconsin didn't stick to the run in the first half well enough. They made a commitment to the second half, and this is the type of game we expected to see.
And if you expected to see Brian Cooper in the ball game, the reason he's not playing is because that right shoulder injury that he suffered last week in the win up in Ann Arbor kept him out of today's game. He'll have the bye week next week to help get better. Maroney running between the tackles this time, down to the 45, actually 48-yard line. That's going to be a face mask against Zalewski. So, Chris, you said he took a bad angle last time. This time he just said, let me grab that face mask.
Yeah.
Albeit probably inadvertent.
Personal foul, face mask, number 41 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
That's the big one. That's the long ride, 15 yards. And here's what they're playing for. Paul Bunyan's axe. Named in honor of the legendary behemoth who was apparently responsible for clearing out trees and the making of the Grand Canyon and the Mississippi River. You know, my wife is from this part of the country, born in Minnesota, raised in Wisconsin. I said, how do people from Minnesota view Wisconsinites and vice versa? She says, well, people from Minnesota see Wisconsin people as people carrying around cheese in their trucks. And she says people view others from Minnesota as being a bunch of lumberjacks with lumberjack jackets 24/7. So there you go. Hence the animosity. This is Russell on the move. Gary Russell, touchdown.
Tackling, tackling, tackling. Poor tackling in all of football is evident, and you'll see that on this run. Kupino's excited. It's his guys out there. But the tackling and the effort right now for Wisconsin is what's killing them to stop the run. You know what they're doing. It's no mystery.
Giannini in for the extra point. It doesn't make it any easier when you've got a head of steam named Gary Russell bearing down on you at 5'11", 215 pounds, and great lower body strength, breaking tackles.
You see right there, Esslinger again. We talk about him. He's going to get Zalewski on the ground. Gary Russell with burst. Then if you tackle again and you come high and behind the man, you have no shot. Gary Russell's a one move and hit it guy. There's the one move and there's the hit it, splitting the defenders with speed. It's difficult when you have two running backs like Maroney and Russell.
Great combination, and let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark told you at halftime that Alabama in trouble in Ole Miss territory.
All right, Reese and Gary Russell with another big play. Last week it was the 61-yard run late in the fourth quarter up in Ann Arbor. This week, a touchdown run of 37 yards to give Minnesota a 27-17 lead. And Mason was able to pluck Russell out of Columbus, Ohio. Coach Mason has Ohio roots, of course, having coached at Ohio State, but he has really made that connection pay.
Well, I think he understands that, you know, there's a hotbed of college or high school football. Ohio is one of those hotbeds across the United States. And you go in and get players where you can find them. They have them in Columbus.
On the return, Hampton brought down just short of the 19-yard line, and 10-point lead. Minnesota with 3:18 to go in the third quarter, and I mentioned it before, this might be the year of the big breakthrough for Glenn Mason. Interestingly enough, he is in a bit of a contract year His contract expires at the end of next season. A lot of speculation, a lot of talk about whether he will get renewed or not, or when he will get extended, but you can't argue with the success that he's had relative to the people that were here before him. Pre-Glen Mason, this program was dormant and straight up dead. First down and 10. Stocco had it batted at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. And Chris, your thought on the contract situation with Glen Mason? You can't argue with their bowl success the last 3 years.
Well, let me tell you my thought, Mark. On the field, they have about 50 recruits in. All right, when you don't have security as a coach, it's tough to tell a kid that I want to come here and play. Glen Mason has had opportunities to go to other places, turned them down because of his loyalty and love for the University of Minnesota. It's time to get his contract done, especially if they win the game today. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
They may gain a little bit more momentum with a win here against their border rivals from Wisconsin. Stocco under heat, and he escapes. Nice job to get near the 25-yard line. With 3:03 to go in the third quarter. Glen Mason's team won their bowl game last year, the Music City Bowl against Alabama. 3 8-win seasons from 50 to 96, and 9 years with Coach Mason. They have really turned up the level of success here.
Mason's getting the crowd going. I mean, this is not a natural occurrence in the Metrodome here.
3rd and 4. Stocco under duress, sacked at the 22 and fumbles. Minnesota's got it. Anthony Montgomery pounced on the loose ball.
Well, again, it's Mario Reese coming up with a big play. Mario Reese was not a starter for this football team. First of all, you got to look at the coverage. The coverage is outstanding. They're playing man-to-man defense, and they're locking them down. Everybody's covered. Mario Reese is coming down, making a play. Watch Mario keep coming, and he strips the ball out. Great play of awareness. Good job of hustling the ball by Montgomery, but a great play of awareness to come and strike your arm down on the quarterback's free hand as opposed to just wrapping them up.
And now Minnesota, Chris, working with a short field. Something Maroney plans to do something with. Run down inside the 15 at the 13-yard line by Kurt Ware. Lawrence Maroney approaching 200 yards, actually well past 200 yards already on the day, 216 to be exact.
Mark, that was one of the first times that Minnesota played man-to-man in a third down situation. I believe Stocco was confused. He was forced to pull the ball down, and thus you had the Minnesota pass rush come, and Mario Reese is bringing it.
2nd and 5, you're looking at one of the humble superstars in college football. It was the first word that Glen Mason taught Lawrence Maroney, humility. It's hard to stay humble when you're that good. Maroney, touchdown, but there's a flag on the play.
Holding, number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
Brinkhouse, the perpetrator.
When you're in a game and you know how the game's being called, at least it's being called by the officials. They're calling holding.
That's Rogers stepping off the field, yeah. Chris. Excuse me.
Brinkhouse will be up here, number 77. You see right there. Yeah, that's a good call. He had a takedown. He had the arm hooked. Unhooked the arm. That's a good call by that official, and they're calling it consistently. But you got to be aware of it.
Look at the penalty situation. Minnesota, meanwhile, scored on his last 4 consecutive possessions. Maroney really likes using that straight arm. Pushed out of bounds at the 22-yard line. And downstairs to Dave Ryan.
Mark almost got run down by Lawrence Maroney there here on the sideline.
Gotta watch
out. He's pretty quick.
Close the game, Rhino.
Minnesota coaches tell us Maroney is as tough as they come. 53 touches against Purdue this year, and a great leader. He shows up at practice every day, ready to work. No signs of wanting special treatment for being a star. A real blue-collar type approach. He's really earned respect from coaches and teammates. What a great career, great year for Maroney.
And that last run, Rhino, setting a career high running-wise for him. 3rd and 13. And it's incomplete, intended for Wheelwright. Defended by Alan Langford. 4th down, and in comes the field goal unit. With 1:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. If Minnesota can tack on 3 more here, it would really turn up the heat on the Badgers.
Also a good stand by Wisconsin now. Obviously helped out by the holding call, but a good stand.
This one's going to come from about 40 yards out. He's connected from 26 and 49 already today. And he shanks this one and hooks it left. Just his 3rd miss of the season. And back to the studio with Reese.
All right, Martin, the nation's #1 passing offense. Texas Tech hitting high gear against Kansas State early in the 3rd quarter. Cody Hodges going to lay one up there with Jared Hicks. Well covered, but not well covered enough. Hicks scores a touchdown, 24-13 the score. Wake continuing to hold that 13-point lead on BC.
Well, Texas Tech, Mark, people, they can play with Texas now.
You think that's going to be game?
Anytime you can throw the football and score like Texas Tech can, you can play with anybody.
I got to like Vince Young as my Heisman leader right now.
He's up there.
Yeah. Brian Calhoun in a tailback. Backs line up out of the offset eye for the Badgers. Down by 10 with 1:22 to go in the 3rd quarter. Hand it off to Calhoun. Hurdling a couple of would-be tacklers. Brian Calhoun with a 1st down at the 34-yard line. We're here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. I'm Mark Jones along with Chris Spielman and Dave Ryan down at the sidelines. Wisconsin and Minnesota locking up for the 115th time. It's the longest rivalry in all of college football. Minnesota scored earlier this period on a long 94-yard run by Lawrence Maroney. Gave them the lead at the time, but the lead has since been whittled down to 10 points. 1st down and 10 for Wisconsin. Stockton hands it off to Calhoun. Calhoun brought down from behind at the 36 by Kyle McKenzie. If you recognize or think of the name McKenzie and associate it with the Buffalo Bills, you can no doubt come to the conclusion that he and Reggie are related. Of course, that's Reggie's nephew. Electric company, right?
Oh, yeah. Reggie.
Blocking for O.J. Simpson.
Road paver for O.J. Wisconsin's found that this counter tray deal against Minnesota, and when they're most successful is not when they bounce it upside, but when they hit it up inside. They're going to keep going to that.
Time winding down in the 3rd period.
There it is again. Inside.
Going to their man again. Calhoun out to the 39, about 6 yards short of the 1st down. Mario Reese made the stop on the play. And 45 minutes are in the books in this one. 2 different sets of passions and values on either side of the St. Croix. We'll decide it when we come back.
If you're going to go out and drink Guinness, remember, use common sense and always know when you've had your fill.
A simple way to remember it is, use Sac-We-Hif.
What?
Please drink responsibly from the brewers of Guinness.
Napster's your friend. Take your friend with you. Join us now and get a free MP3 player with a 1-year membership. Join us, Napster.
It's college football, and now it's live on ESPN Classic. Live games have a new home. Saturday, the Wyoming Cowboys and the Colorado State Rams clash in their annual border war. Who will take home the coveted bronze boot? Tomorrow's classics can now be seen today on ESPN Classic. College football has a new tradition. Wyoming versus Colorado State live, 3 Eastern Saturday, and this game is only on ESPN Classic.
From Studio C in Industry City, Davis. Our first guest needs little introduction, so ladies and gentlemen, please welcome George Hamilton. How are you, Friday, sir. Please have a seat. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. You know, I got to tell you, that TV in the green room is spectacular.
That is no TV, George. That is the award-winning Dell 42-inch HD plasma TV. And we noticed you noticing. Freddie, show the green room cam footage.
The green room cam?
Oh, yeah, we're sneaky devils here.
Look at you. Those features. That true-to-life color. You're stunning.
Yeah, the Dell Plasma TV. An amazing picture at an amazing price.
Oh, the TV. TV's great, too. It's spectacular.
Spectacular, George. It's a Dell!
Davis, right now, save $400 on a Dell 42-inch HD Plasma TV. Plus, get free shipping. To get the most out of your home entertainment, add a Dell Media Center PC starting at only $699. It's entertainment made easy with Dell and Microsoft.
Back here for the final 15 minutes at the Metrodome. Minnesota leading Wisconsin by 10. And Wisconsin Badger fans that have made the trip, doing their traditional practice, jumping around. The song inspired by the House of Pain. So far, it's been the House of Pain in favor of Minnesota. 3rd down and 5. Important first down for Wisconsin. Heavy heat coming on Stockel. Incomplete at the 46. Intended for Brandon Williams. Let's take a look at our Napa game track. Some of the cogent points of the game so far. That's what they're playing for. Paul Bunyan's axe. And Lawrence Maroney with the biggest play of the game so far. A 90-plus yard gallop into the end zone. And Brian Calhoun starting to catch fire a little bit here in the second half. Calhoun has run for 75 yards. 4th down. High spiraling punt by the Bush. Logan back at the 9 and brought down immediately. Great special teams coverage. A 52-yard punt. Nothing on the return. And Levon Rowan with a nice stop. We'll be back.
On this job, you notice things. Like this new Steak Fanatic pizza. It's a big hit with the guys.
Steak Fanatic pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Man fuel. Cool.
Hey, hurry up! Only 23 figurines left, Hank! They're statues!
They're statues.
Introducing Domino's new Steak Fanatic Pizza. Angus steak piled on even more steak, smothered in cheese. Buy a medium for just $9.99 and heap on even more Angus steak for just $2. Hit the door. It's Domino's new Steak Fanatic Pizza.
Would you like to buy a raffle ticket to win a new car?
A new car? Yeah, right. Go ask my neighbor.
Hey, neighbor, look what I won! Just for buying a raffle ticket.
Life's full of regrets.
Pretty sweet, huh?
Shoulda. Coulda. East woulda. Don't let paying too much for auto insurance be one of them. Call Eastwood Insurance for a free price comparison today. With our low rates, it's one decision you won't regret.
Coulda, Eastwoodda!
A capacity crowd of 80,000 looks on as Olympian Dick Fosbury uses a whole new approach to the high jump. Fosbury successfully executes an unorthodox backward flip that propels him across the bar for an Olympic record and a gold medal. The 21-year-old champion sees his invention christened the Fosbury Flop.
That was October 20th, 1968.
Campbell's Junkie presents tips from Mama McNabb.
Don't eat junky, eat chunky. Hearty Chunky New England clam chowder now comes in microwavable bowls.
New England, huh? Well, I like it anyway. Campbell's Junkie, it fills you up right.
Is it true you do more brakes than anyone?
Absolutely. Is something burning?
Oh, those are Fred's old brakes.
Come to the experts in brakes and maintenance, the Midas Touch Maintenance Package. An oil change, tire rotation, and multi-point courtesy check, including brake check for just $29.95.
Trust the Midas Touch.
Wisconsin down by 10. Minnesota with a 27-17 lead. That's what they're playing for. Paul Bunyan's axe. Minnesota looking to add another trophy to their trophy case. Last week, it was a little brown jug. A lot of people came over to see the jug in the trophy case at the athletic complex earlier this week. Glenn Mason says he hadn't seen that jug in a long, long time. Minnesota hadn't seen it actually since 1986. Took it around town last Saturday night with him for a little bit too. Let's go back to the studio on the Maroney Run.
All right, Mark, we check in now on that back and forth game in the Big Ten, Michigan State and Ohio State. Here goes Jason Teague. And Buckeye defense having trouble with Sparty. They've gone back on top now. Michigan State 24-21, late third.
Boy, the Buckeyes, a little bit of a shootout with Michigan State, which can be deadly. 2nd down and 7. Backs line up out of the eye. Maroney between the tackles out to the 16-yard line, about 3 yards short of the first down with 14 minutes to go.
This is exactly what Minnesota wants to do, is they want to get in manageable 3rd downs for their young quarterback, Tony Mortensen, and they're doing it by just pounding the middle and pounding the middle.
Ryan Cupido not playing in the game because of a right shoulder injury. That's his throwing shoulder. Tony Mortensen has been going the entire way at quarterback, making his first career start. Nearby Hutchinson, Minnesota. It's Maroney, and he's going to be stopped up short of the first down at the 16-yard line. So the defense, that time led by Gino Cruz, making a stand for Brett Bielema's crew.
Also, freshman DeAndre Levy getting his first action of the day, comes up and feels nice to answer the call. A good play by Wisconsin. That's guts. It's guts. It's time to put it on the line. Wisconsin answered the challenge right there. Outstanding 3-and-out.
Looking for a big play now from Brandon Williams, who, by the way, has a punt return for a touchdown already this year. He's extending on his own 5 to punt. That's off a very towering high spiral. Williams back at the 38. On the seam off the left side and got a good block out there. Brandon Williams into Gopher territory at the 44-yard line. Plenty of football to go. We'll be right back after this.
I do enjoy drinking Guinness at a tailgating party.
Yes, and I've discovered that the local custom is to wear cheese on your head. So, to fit in, I brought along some hunks of Limburger.
Limburger cheeseheads? Brilliant!
Brilliant!
I'm not so sure we're fitting in.
I smell feet.
Whatever the occasion, drink responsibly.
Brilliant!
It's college football, and now it's live on ESPN Classic. Saturday, the Wyoming Cowboys and the Colorado State Rams clash in their annual border war. Who will take home the bronze boot? Wyoming, Colorado State live, 3 Eastern Saturday on ESPN Classic. Yesterday's thrillers are today's instant classics. West Virginia battles Louisville in a triple overtime shootout. Wisconsin stuns Minnesota, plus Penn State versus Michigan. It all adds up to a triple instant classic all day today on ESPN Classic.
If you're one of the 45 million uninsured Americans who don't have medical, dental, or prescription coverage, you're paying too much on medical bills. Well, that stops right now. Welcome to Prudent Choice. Prudent Choice is a network of premier doctors and hospitals offering huge discounts of up to 50, 55, 60% on health care services, all for less than $1 a day. And because Prudent Choice is not health insurance, there are no deductibles, no waiting period, and you can't be turned down for any pre-existing condition.
With Prudent Choice, now everybody can afford quality health care.
I'm seeing the specialists that I need to and saving so much money.
Prudent Choice saved us almost $5,000.
If your family doesn't have health insurance, you need Prudent Choice, so you'll never have to pay full price for your medical care again.
Get over $300 in free healthcare services. Call in the next 9 minutes, and you'll also receive an added bonus of 2 months free with an annual membership. And now it costs less than $1 a day to get started. Call now.
I'm Mark Jones along with Chris Spielman and Dave Ryan. You're watching ESPN's coverage of college football. Number 23, Wisconsin battling number 22, Minnesota for the Paul Bunyan Axe from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Now, due to time constraints, we're moving ahead in our coverage. Wisconsin defense responding a few moments ago. Now it's up to the offense. A 10-point deficit facing the Badgers, and John Stocco was facing such a situation last week against Northwestern. They responded at times with some very quick scoring drives. Looking downfield at Jonathan Orr. Complete at the 30-yard line. Orr absorbing the hit from Banks to pick up 13 yards.
Oftentimes, college football mimics the NFL. And this is how it's mimicking the NFL right now when you have a 6'4" wide receiver that has hops. that Tremaine Banks, even though he has a good break on the football, has no chance because of the size difference that Orr presents.
Orr had several big plays last week in that loss at Northwestern. 4 touchdown catches. 1st and 10 from the 30. Calhoun. Oh, what a move. Brian Calhoun near another 1st down. He got it at the 19. Let's go back to the studio.
Right, Mark, Rutgers and Syracuse and the Scarlet Knights putting a whipping on Syracuse. Corey Barnes going to come up with that thing, score his 2nd touchdown of the day. Rutgers 2 wins away from bowl eligibility. They haven't been to a bowl since '77, longest drought among big-time teams.
Greg Schiano getting some good players, especially out of South Florida. Trying to build a little momentum there. Speaking of momentum, Stocco on the move with the offense. 1st and 10 from the 20. Hands it off to Calhoun. Got a block. Calhoun down to the 2-yard line. A 17-yard gain, and it's 1st and goal for Wisconsin. Pavelski finally made the tackle.
Well, here's where we talk about mirror images of teams. And this is the outside zone play when they try to get players and outflank it. Watch Raiola come on. This is a big man, over 300 pounds, able to pull. Brian Calhoun's a smart guy. There's Raiola getting a seal block. Brian Calhoun is shifty. Look at that. You never get a square hit on him. That's why, as they said, Coach Chris, that's why you don't get banged up, because he doesn't take square shots. Reminds me of another guy played with, Barry Sanders. He never took a square shot.
1st and goal. Calhoun time again. Touchdown Badgers. Decisively, convincingly, inexorably moving down the field. And now looking to narrow the lead to just 3 points. What a statement, Chris, by the offense.
Mark, it is, because Minnesota had a turnover. They had a touchdown that was negated by a holding call. And ever since then, Wisconsin responded to the challenge. Nobody's going to go away easy in this game. It's going down to the wire for the Axe.
3rd touchdown of the game for Brian Calhoun. And with the extra point, the lead is down to a tenuous 3 points. Brian Calhoun, the transfer from the University of Colorado, giving his offensive unit a huge lift and a boost here in the 2nd half of play. And Wisconsin right now has the Axe in a case behind their bench. Who's going to storm? Minnesota looking to storm the sideline and get it. But what adjustments do you see by them running the ball here in the 2nd half?
It's simple. They're going to counter Trey. What that is they're getting 2 pullers from the opposite side of the play. With Minnesota's not getting off and knocking off the blockers, allowing the Wisconsin pullers to get upfield and create holes. And Brian Calhoun is such a patient runner and great balance that they're able to exploit the middle of the Minnesota defense.
Calhoun,
take advantage of it.
He had just 14 yards on 7 carries after the 1st half.
There you see 2 players leading, and they wall off the pursuit. And Brian Calhoun, he sniffs it, he'll smell it, he'll get it.
That's the 10th 100-plus yard rushing game of his career.
But I like the adjustment that Paul Chryst and Barry Alvarez made at halftime, where they came out and they've committed to the run in the 2nd half. And certainly that's who they are, and it's starting to pay off, where Calhoun only had 14 yards on 7 carries in the 1st half.
Does that mean no more Air Stocco like last week?
Might be.
Get away from Maroney.
Bring it.
This is Wallace. He's going to take a knee, and we're going to go back to the studio with Reese.
All right, Mark, we've talked about the big lead that Wake Forest got out to against Boston College, but now in a 20-14 game, LV Whitworth, LV thinking TD doesn't quite get there. Ball was down, and then Brian Toll, the linebacker, in there for the 6th time. How about that? Spielman, 6 touchdowns for a linebacker. BC's up by 1.
6 touchdowns for a linebacker.
True athletes. Need tough yards, go to the tough guys.
Still trying to decide whether that's good or bad for his rep. 1st and 10, Spaeth in motion. Maroney reversing his field. Ran for about 40 yards, picked up a couple downstairs to Dave.
Well, Mark, Mark, you can really feel the swing of momentum here on the Wisconsin sideline. The coaches, Barry Albert and Brian White, are the assistant coaches on offense. Some of the offensive players like Stocco and Ryan Calhoun with a big run. A lot of momentum here. They've certainly changed it, and why not? If you can follow us over here, the Wisconsin marching band is right next to the bench. They're right on top of them, and they're giving them plenty of momentum. No question, Mark.
Well, the player down in the field right now is Mark Zalewski, the middle linebacker for the Badgers, and we talked about him being integral to their communication efforts this week. Last week they suffered from a lot of breakdowns communicating, and here's how it transpired. Zalewski, number 41, took one from Ellerson.
That's a no-looker, and when you get a no-looker, those hurt the worst because you can't brace for the hit. Get up, young man. You'll be all right.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by ADT Security Services. Go to ESPN.com to enter the All-Defensive Team Challenge.
Thank you for calling ADT Security Services.
I just wanted you to know that security system saved me twice.
You all have given me peace of mind.
I tell everybody I see, get an ADT security system.
Like these customers and millions more, you'll feel more secure with ADT in your home. ADT helps protect your family from burglary, fire, and carbon monoxide. Call now and save over $100 off the regular price when you buy ADT's family package. And you may save up to 20% off your homeowner's insurance. ADT, always there.
15 years ago, Saturn changed the rules of the car industry.
We promised no haggling,
no hassles, and cars that weren't just easy to buy, but to own.
Today, our promise still stands.
On every 2006, we promised the safety of OnStar, standard for 1 year.
We promised the best highway gas mileage of any compact V6 SUV.
And on most models, we promised a lowered price.
The Saturn Total Value Promise.
You'll get more without paying more.
We promise.
It's not a promotion, it's a promise.
Steven!
I was just hungry.
Mother's dinner not good enough for you?
Sorry.
Oh, you're darn right you're sorry.
Everyone wants the new fresh toasted chicken Parmesan sandwich, zesty marinara, melted cheese, only at Subway restaurants.
Salmon spend most of their adult lives in the ocean. After maturing, they migrate back to spawn in the same rivers and streams where they were born. It is here that many a salmon's life is cut short. However, there is good news. I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I'm Mark Jones along with Chris Spielman and Dave Ryan. You're watching ESPN's coverage of college football. Number 23 Wisconsin battling number 22 Minnesota for the Paul Bunyan Axe from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Now, due to time constraints, we're moving ahead in our coverage. Under 10 minutes to go. Maroney getting a breather. It looks like he needs a little bit of one on the sidelines. This is a pivotal weekend in the Big Ten. 7 teams with 1 loss in the conference. Second down and 5. Handed off to Russell. Pulling his way for the first down at the 44-yard line is Gary Russell. Here's a look at those standings. Wisconsin and Minnesota knotted at 2-1. Yeah, Iowa winning earlier today. Actually, they were in the lead last we saw it, 2-1 as well.
You know, you take a look at Northwestern, who's putting a whooping right now on Purdue. Northwestern can play with anybody for the same reason I believe Texas Tech can play with Texas, because they can score points. A defense doesn't win you championships. It can get to you championship, but the object of the game is to put points on the board. If you have an offense, you can play with anyone.
They put 51 up last week against this Badger team. First and 10. Hands it off to Russell, and Russell, hard running, tough blocking. Out near midfield at the 49-yard line. Gary Russell out of Columbus, Ohio. He, along with Alex Daniels and a couple of talented guys out of Columbus, and moving in on another career high for another back, Gary Russell. Earlier today, Maroney notched a career high rushing.
Well, last week, Terrell Sutton put up a career high. Although brief career, it's still a career high.
Second and 6. Toss to Russell. That's Esslinger out in front of him. Gary Russell made a nice cut to make it close to the 47-yard line. Back to Reese in the studio.
Mark, I don't know if I've ever seen this before. This is not the kind of execution you want deep in the red zone. Ole Miss 3rd and goal against Alabama. Michael Spurlock lets the play clock run out. That's a delay of game. Well, I've seen it one time. On the next play, Ole Miss does it again. Consecutive delay of game penalties. Rebels had to settle for a field goal, but they are tied with the Tide, and Rebels have the ball back in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Reese, that's a good point. I can't think of a time when I've seen it like that either. On 3rd and 2, Maroney is the deep back. Justin Valentine leads the way on the ISO. Maroney got close to the 30, actually the 45. Depending on the spot, it looks like he got the first down. And this is really starting to look like Wisconsin-type football, just handing it off and grinding clock, but Minnesota leading by just 3 points.
I'm witnessing something that I don't get to see much anymore in college football. I'm seeing guys run the football. They look like they're stopped at the line of scrimmage. Then you look up and you see that they gain 4 or 5 yards a pop. It's their surge. And that's a natural instinct. It's something that's really tough to teach.
Maroney has all those tools and then some. And he got the first down. Barry Alvarez on the left, Glenn Mason on the right. Contrasting reactions.
And we're at the point of the game where we say, all right, boys, they're running the football. All right, Wisconsin defense, what are you going to do about it? Line up, find out who is tougher. Right now, Wisconsin is not only dominating the line of scrimmage, but they're running that clock down.
First down and 10. Minnesota on the move. Under 8 minutes to go. Run the ball 8 times on this 8-play drive. Make it 9 in a row. Maroney bottled up. Took one tackler off, and he lost his shoe back at the 46-yard line. Dante Sanders got all that, and then the shoe.
I'm going to try a little prediction game right here. Anytime Wisconsin wants a play-action pass, they have, or Minnesota, Wisconsin is committing everybody to stop the run. If they want a play-action pass, it's certainly something that could bust for them.
Yeah, with 9 consecutive runs. You might think so. Second down and 9. Russell, the deep back. They look to throw. And Mortensen overshot Ellerson. It'll be 3rd down and long for Minnesota with a little over 7 minutes to go. Brandon Kelly putting the pressure on Mortensen, and Glenn Mason faced with a big play call right here. Cupido forced to watch on the sidelines with an injured throwing shoulder. Checking the plays nonetheless. A critical 3rd and 9 for Minnesota. They're 7 of 14 on 3rd downs today.
Well, one guy who's been quiet, that's a big target for them, is Spaeth, the big tight end.
They hand it off to Russell. Gary Russell, big play last week. Didn't get the first time this time. It'll be 4th down and about 2 to go on the very, very edge, long fringe of field goal range with just under 7 minutes to go. And we have a Gopher player shaken up back at the 40-yard line. That's Brinkhouse, the starting tackle.
Well, decision time. You're probably out of range for your field goal kicker. You might want to punt and make Wisconsin drive the distance. But on the other hand, if you get the first down, there's a chance that you drive the stake home. So it's, I think you might want to line up and act like you're going for it. You try for the proverbial hard count. Or if there's a play that you have extreme confidence in, Mark, you run the play and you go for the throw.
I know I have extreme confidence if I'm Glenn Mason and Lawrence Maroney and Gary Russell.
Yeah, both guys.
Mortensen coming back onto the field. Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down.
I would have to say, though, I would believe Gary Russell's just a little bit better of a short yardage runner than Lawrence Maroney. Why? Because he makes a decision and he hits it, and rarely does he get stopped where he's hit.
4th down and 2. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down. It's a short 2 to go.
Follow him. He'll take you to the play.
Play fake. Mortensen keeps it. Got a great blocker in front of him. First down, Minnesota.
It's kind of my prediction, except it wasn't a pass. But it was a play action. When you have a team that is selling out, like Wisconsin selling out, to stop the pounding, that play is there all day. It's a great job of Mortensen sticking that ball in there and hiding the football. Right here, I don't know where that football is. Now, if you're Mortensen, young man, stay in bounds. Why you keep that clock running?
Boy, Chris, he really sold the fake that time.
Great ball handling.
Said earlier that Glen Mason has a little bit of a riverboat gambling way about him on 1st down and 10. Gary Russell now. Russell cuts it back. Was hit back at the 19, made it down to the 13. Back to the studio and Reese.
All right, Mark, just when you think Boston College is going to be able to take control against Wake, Quentin Porter finds a wide open Josh Gaddis, and he's taking it the other way. The pick 6 for the Demon Deacs, and they're on top 27-21 early in the 4th quarter.
Reese back here, 6:18 to go, and the pound fest that is Glen Mason and Gopher football right now continues in earnest. Russell, Maroney doing it on this drive. Combined 54 carries today. Maroney back in the ballgame. And he's stopped up, piled up at the 13-yard line and downstairs to Dave.
Well, Mark, we spoke yesterday with Minnesota running back Gary Russell after their practice. He tells us he really prefers coming in off the bench so he get a feel for the flow of the game from the sidelines. And he's certainly proven that today with a big afternoon. He and Maroney both have been great. Gets him pumped up to play by watching a few series. He says he learns a lot from Lawrence Maroney. When he comes off the field, Maroney will tell Russell what he sees with the Wisconsin defense. Gary applies that to his carries. That sort of knowledge. 1-2 punch has been fabulous all day, Mark.
And last year it was Marion Barber III and Maroney, both of them going over 1,000 yards. Not inconceivable. Maybe it might happen again with Russell and Maroney. 2nd and 10. Maroney to the short side of the field. Jumped down to the 11-yard line. Brought down by Dantes Sanders. More regional action on ABC starting at 3:30. Penn State, Michigan, Colorado, Texas, Oregon State, Cal, Louisville, West Virginia, and on the West Coast only at San Diego State against Utah. Check the local listings for the games available in your area as Mortensen comes over to the sideline to consult with his head coach Glen Mason and Mitch Browning, the offensive coordinator. Just over 5 minutes to go, and this is the battle, the 115th for Paul Bunyan's axe.
Big Matt Spaeth at 6'6", the tight end, already has 1 touchdown to catch today right here.
They like him in the red zone. They like Russell too. Russell down to the 4-yard line, stopped up about a yard shy of the 1st down.
It's another decision.
Russell's saying, let's go for it. They made it the last time on 4th and a long, actually a short 2. Nose of the ball resting just inside the 5. And Glen Mason has supreme confidence in his offense right now, Chris. Looks like he's going to leave them on the field.
I mean, it's a
clock, the 4-5-2, and then we will start on the ready, both the 25 and the game clock. Reset 4-5-2. Thank you.
Well, somebody's watching the clock. That's good to know.
Yep. Well, to me, this is the ball game. If Coach Mason decides to go for it, that pretty much hammers Wisconsin. Now you got to make a decision. You put points on the board, you make it a touchdown game to tie. If you don't get it, it's only a field goal for the tie. And get a 1st down.
Clock running down, and Mortensen coming back over to the sideline. They're going to call another one.
Yeah, this is a timeout because he has a young quarterback, Mark. He wants to make sure he understands what they want done. And you want to make sure you have the right play, and it might be even just to settle him down. This is his 1st start. He's played admirably today, by the way, but they want to make sure they get the play that they need.
Came into this game just 2 of 7 on the season. Today, 7 of 16 for almost 100 yards passing, has a touchdown pass as well as 1 interception. But number 24, Gary Russell, and Lawrence Maroney, number 22, have piled up a lot of yards on the ground for Minnesota. 398 total. And And you ask yourself, is there a better tandem in the country right now? It's tough to think of who might be in terms of, you know, their total productivity and what they add in terms of substance. A combined 56 rushes between Maroney and Russell. And to think that the irony, Amir Penix, number 29, is the number 3 tailback. He's got a world of talent, and he doesn't see the field that much.
You know, you've got to see Russell win as the back here, too. Why do I say that? Because I believe he's a better short yardage runner than Lawrence Maroney. But they have Russell at the fullback now, so they have both of them in the ball game.
Wisconsin with some late substitutions. A defining point of the game on 4th and short. They're going to mark it short of the end zone at about the 1-yard line, just inside the 1. Maroney got the first down. You get the feeling that nobody can stop them right now. At least that's what they think, Chris.
See Gary Russell getting a great block, and Lawrence Maroney, is he in the end zone? No, he's just short. Excellent call by the officials. If Wisconsin tried to substitute late, there might have been some confusion or that lack of communication that they've been having problems with. I sneak the football here.
1st and goal. Russell and Maroney out of the eye. It's Maroney. Met with feeling by Joel Stellmacher. The strong safety came up, and this is not the time to lose your head, although that type of hit can make you.
A great hit by Stellmacher, coming up and taking Maroney high. Watch Stellmacher Phil. He's the on-block player. Here comes the Phil, and bam, see, he hits him high. That way Lawrence Maroney can't go over the top of him to reach the football. But excellent form tackle, put his face on his face. Man to man, find out who's tougher. And that's a great job by Stellmacher, standing him straight up.
From just inside the 1-yard line, it's 2nd down and goal for the Gophers. Looking to perhaps seal this one away. Russell. Touchdown. Gary Russell, a.k.a. G-Money. And he was straight up cash that time, cashing in the long drive by Minnesota. Now leading by 10 points, 34-24. And you talk about the the mothership of drives, Chris. 19 plays, 80 yards, just under 8 minutes. And this is how they cap it off.
Well, Gary Russell, again, I think he's a great inside runner. And that's Glenn Mason football, Mark. Well, you said it. 19 plays, 80 yards. Do they have a pass?
Maybe 1 or 2.
And they have 402 yards on the ground with 60 carries.
And they are getting ready and thinking perhaps of storming that Badger sideline and stealing the object of their passions today, Paul Bunyan's axe, now unveiled.
One of the great traditions is that the team, if they have the axe and they lose the ball game, there's no problems caused or fights breaking out when the other team storms the bench. It's a great tradition, and it's fun to watch. And to me, it epitomizes the excitement of college football, what it means.
Think about over the years in this rivalry. You and I have had the pleasure of calling this game several times. I can remember Lee Evans running over to the sideline and snatching that axe from the Minnesota team. And then a couple of years ago, Reese Lloyd, the place kicker for Minnesota, kicking the game-winning field goal and running over the Wisconsin bench and taking the axe back.
Now, it's not over yet. Now they're doing this kick to keep the ball in the hands of Brandon Williams.
Giannini with the short kick. They'll start at the 30. Back to the studio.
All right, Mark, as soon as you guys are done, the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura. Mark May and Lou Holtz alongside. Alabama in a world of trouble in Oxford. We'll have a look. College Game Day gang in South Bend and a little wake-up call in Boston.
I'll tell you what, Michigan State and Ohio State right down to the wire. Why does Michigan State look so good in one series and so awful the next? And Minnesota not only has a brown jug, they now have the axe. And can they get the Floyd of Rosedale?
Not yet. Not yet. They don't have the axe yet. They've got their hands on it. They just haven't grasped it yet.
Yeah, Reese, it's been 1986 since the last time that they've gotten that trifecta. All three of those trophy games. This is Calhoun strung out and pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line. For more on trophies, let's go downstairs to Dave.
I'll say Minnesota plays for the most in 1A football. Mark Forrest, the third straight trophy game they've been in. First in Penn State, they played for the Governor's Victory Bell, a relatively new trophy awarded back in '93. Penn State has that one. Then the Little Brown Jug last week, won for the first time by the Gophers since '86. Don't forget the Floyd of Rosedale. Goes back to 1935, a bronze pig. End of the season, November 19th against Iowa.
That's a lot of trophies, Rhino. Got to build new showcases. On 2nd and 5, Stocco wants to keep that axe. But it's brought down at the 35-yard line by Anthony Montgomery. With 3:06 to play. And they are really jacked up on the sidelines. The offense and defense. Quarterback Mortensen. David Lockwood. The defense looking to make its penultimate stand today.
And this is where memories are made, Mark. These guys are going to come back 10 and 15 years from now, and they're going to talk about this game. And it's not over, by the way. Not over by a long shot.
Stocco complete to White. Pardon me, Williams. And Williams has it near the 40-yard line. Stops the clock while they move the chains. 2:38 to go.
That's why I say it's not over, because when you have Brandon Williams, Jonathan Orr, and Stocco throwing the football like he's throwing the football, this game is far from being over. And don't forget little Mr. Calhoun in the backfield. A lot of things happen throughout the years. 115 games, strange things happen throughout history.
And the last axe game for Barry Alvarez, who will step down as the head coach and assume singular duties as the school's athletic director at the end of this year. 1st down and 10 from the 40 after that 24-yard pickup. Stocco. Looks like they got crossed up a little bit in their signals, and we won't get crossed up. Back to the studio.
All right, Mark, Michigan State's offense has dominated the game against Ohio State, putting up huge numbers, but not enough numbers on the scoreboard. This play, very reminiscent of a touchdown earlier in the game from Troy Smith to Santonio Holmes. Holmes keeps his feet, and the Buckeyes have taken the lead. Less than 5 minutes to go. They're up 4.
Wow. Nice leap into the end zone. 2nd down and 10. Wisconsin down again late in the 4th quarter, like last week at Northwestern. They tried to set up the screen. Calhoun brought down at the 35-yard line, about 5 yards short of the 1st down. Heath Lipka, who is Calhoun's former high school teammate, in on the stop. And one of the thoughts coming into the game for Calhoun was, hey, I don't want him to touch me. We're friends, but I don't want him getting near me on the afternoon. Calhoun, the transfer from Colorado, has had a very productive second half, in stark contrast to the first half, when he was bottled up for just 14 yards on a total of 7 carries. And you look back in Wisconsin, not just in this game, but over the last couple of years, Chris, you know, last year they started off 9-0, finished the season on a 3-game slide. You wonder about their psyche a little bit after losing last week against Northwestern.
Well, I think their psyche is being hurt on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it's demoralizing. I've been in games like this where teams just stuff it down your throat, and the offense is always playing catch-up. Even though it's a close game, to me it seems like Minnesota has dominated this football game. But it's not over. A Barry Alvarez team will never quit, and they'll keep coming because they have weapons and they still are in this football game.
And here's a look at the Badgers' remaining schedule. Purdue at home. And then a couple of road games, a huge one at Penn State. And they finished the season on ESPN2 on the sandy shores of Honolulu. 3rd down and 5 for the Badgers from the 35-yard line of Minnesota. Stocco completes the pass to Williams for the 1st down, working on Tremaine Banks.
I'll tell you, that's a great throw by John Stocco. He had Brian Calhoun in the flat, but the newfound confidence let him throw, make the tougher throw to Brandon Williams, and he threw on time, on target. That's good coverage by Banks. It's just a good throw, good catch.
John Stocco, you can almost see his confidence growing leaps and bounds in the last couple of weeks. 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line for Wisconsin, down by 10 points.
2:15 left. Still plenty of time.
Stocco. Touchdown! And a flag on the play. Williams with a great grab.
We have a late face mask, inadvertent face mask. The great catch by Brandon Williams and a gutsy throw by John Stocco with maroon jerseys all over his feet.
John Stocco, undaunted, comes back with a dart into the end zone. And should this play stand? We said there was a lot of football to go, folks. 2:10 left. Be just a 3-point game. Here's the call.
Personal foul, face mask, number 2 of the defense. That 15-yard penalty will be administered on a kickoff. Resolve the play, touchdown.
Brandon Williams throws a knife move. He fakes a 7 route. Tremaine Banks falls down. Jones is in good position. He goes for the football, but he waits on the football to come to him as opposed to getting the football and going to get it. And there's Stocco. He's a different quarterback.
Oh. Williams rocked Tremaine Banks' world on that move. I mean, you talk about breaking ankles. A couple fractured fibulas on that one. Great move by Williams with his 175th career pass reception. And that ties the school record held by Lee Evans, presently of the Buffalo Bills.
Let me tell you something now. They have that 15-yard penalty onside kick time.
For the second time we've seen that.
If you don't get it, your still field position isn't as bad as it would be if you were kicking back from where you're supposed to kick. So this plays right into Wisconsin's hands. And Mark, I sat here and I said that they have too many weapons to turn your TV off.
You almost get the feeling that Minnesota should be winning this game by 2 touchdowns or maybe 10 points with some of their miscues, but there's been fumbles, illegal formations, personal fouls in the end zone, a penalty that called back that touchdown run by Maroney, and Glenn Mason can only have that look of vexation on the sideline. With 2:10 to go and Wisconsin kicking off from midfield. Brandon Williams in the process tying the school record for receptions.
This is the hands team for the receivers. And for those who don't know, the hands team is comprised of receivers, tight ends, anybody that's deemed to have good hands on your squad. Right here, look, they'll line up a whole different way. See everybody up here at the line of scrimmage? That's a hands team.
Do you like an onside kick here?
Absolutely. I think you have to onside kick because you only have one timeout left. And the way they've been pounding the football on you, I think you have to do what you got to do. Right here, see, now they have to adjust the hands team because look, there's a gaggle of Badgers over there.
They're using DeBush this time on the kickoff. Got a good bounce. It's loose. It's live. Maroney running it down. He pounces on it safely at the 7-yard line. And you can almost feel the Gopher fans and the sidelines breathing a sigh of relief. Not quite time to exhale totally, though. One more look at it.
This is a great kick because it's a short hopper. And that's tough to get.
You can't feel that, Chris.
No. I mean, Ozzie Smith would have been able to field that one. That didn't make the Web Gems.
Tremaine Banks took it in his chest, and it bounced off of him all the way downfield. The Lawrence Maroney, and Barry Alvarez will surely remember this edition, the 115th between Minnesota and Wisconsin. He said that last year's victory might have been their best game ever against Minnesota during his 16-year tenure. 1st and 10 for the Gophers.
Now they have one timeout left. They're going to have to use it pretty quick.
Maroney running it up the middle beyond the 10-yard line. Under 2 minutes to go. Wisconsin running out of time. Lawrence Maroney with a career-high rushing today. 252 yards in all, and he is our Nexium player of the game. He and Gary Russell doing an outstanding job on the ground for the Gophers. It's the most yards rushing in school history. Actually 4th most, pardon me.
You got to watch Mortensen here and watch the manage the clock. There's 7 on the play clock. He's a little lackadaisical up there.
it off in time. Maroney straight ahead to the 15-yard line. Stops the clock with 1:19 to go. And Wisconsin calls its last timeout. This has been the year of the big breakthrough so far for Glenn Mason. They defeated Purdue for the first time ever during his tenure. They won at Michigan for the first time since 1986. Up next, the 29th after the bye week at home against Ohio State. And a win tonight for the Gophers would put them in very good position. It would make them 3-1 in conference play. Look at all the names and scores etched into the axe handle there. Dave Ryan, pardon me, telling us earlier that they had to add some feet on that handle. It's the great history of this rivalry.
Yeah, I want to tell you what Brett Bielema was telling his defense right now. He says, guys, no matter how bad it was today, we give up 400 yards on the ground. It comes down to this play. It's 3rd and 3. It doesn't matter how good you were before or how bad you were before, but be great this play. I guarantee you that was the speech before they went out there.
We'll see what they come up with, Chris, on 3rd and 3. Minnesota can put these heads to bed by getting the first down. It's Maroney, and he won't get it. Stopped up short of the first down on the left side of the offensive line. Nothing doing. Maroney about a yard short. Wisconsin and Brett Bielema's defense out of timeouts with 1:04 to go.
Well, Mason's down there telling the official right there. You see him give a little tea time. He's going to tell the line judge that he's going to call timeout. And that's a line judge. You're allowed to do that in college football where the coach is allowed to call timeout from the sidelines.
Great point. On 4th down and 1, Wisconsin would just have to get into field goal range. And Taylor Meloff has a very strong leg. He's their place kicker, but will he get an opportunity? Clock stops with 35 seconds to go. Minnesota with a 3-point lead and 1 timeout remaining. They'll have to punt it away here. Brandon Williams, the punt returner for Wisconsin, has a touchdown already this year on a punt return. And Barry Alvarez would love nothing more than to get another one here. Williams had a touchdown catch a few moments ago. In the process, tying a school receiving record. Lawrence Maroney has done a lot of heavy lifting today.
Well, gutsy call would be to run a fake, wouldn't it?
A gutsy? I call it something else. Gutsy or crazy, depending on the outcome of it. There's a look at Meloff. 35 seconds to go. Meloff did a lot of work in the offseason. Went to kicking camp out in California, trying to refine his mechanics.
See 4 for 4 from 40 to 49. So ideally, with the time left, that would be suitable field position for the Wisconsin offense to give him a chance.
They've got to get into field goal range, though. Kusek now will punt, and Minnesota needs a good effort from him.
And they need a good effort from their coverage teams, Mark, because number 1, Brandon Williams back there, who, as you mentioned earlier, has taken one back this year, can return the football.
He was the Big Ten Conference Special Teams Player of the Week a few weeks ago. Here's the punt coming from Kusek.
Coming after it.
Oh, he fumbled it. It's blocked unbelievably. Wisconsin with a chance to pounce. Who's got it? Touchdown Badgers. Unbelievable. Simply shocking.
That's why you call timeout, to make sure you can only do so much. You can't have the punter drop the football. Now, the game's not over yet.
Kusek fumbled the snap. It appeared to hit him right in the hands. Wisconsin going to try and put this out of a field goal's reach with the extra point from Meloff, which he does. Barry Alvarez has never seen anything like this, I bet.
You coach long enough, you're going to see it all. Right here, number 26, Zach Hampton comes through on touch. And the guys keep coming. And what happened was he got nervous. You're talking about a young punter back there that got nervous and got in a hurry. Let's see. Let's look at the snap. The snap is good. He just missed the snap.
Jonathan Casillas, Chris, blocked the punt. Would he have been better off just falling there?
Well, I think he's probably thought that they went to try to do the rugby kick. And that was called. I believe the rugby kick was called. Casillas does a good job of maintaining his rush lane and keeping his hands down, taking it off the punter's foot, as opposed to going up high.
Glenn Mason is apoplectic right now. He can't believe what happened. In relative shock, as are most of the 60,000 plus fans here, most of them Gopher fans. You think about all the miscues today by Minnesota. The holding penalty, which cost them a touchdown run by Maroney. The formation penalty, which cost them a potential touchdown, or at least possession on the fumble punt by Wisconsin. And the Axe resting comfortably still for the moment on the Wisconsin sideline. Will it stay there? Just one of the questions that begs with 30 seconds to go. Wallace at the goal line. He's brought down and he fumbles. That might just do it. Recovered by Wisconsin and DeAndre Levy. An incredible meltdown by Minnesota. With less than a minute to go, the Gophers seemingly had the victory within its grasp. And Barry Alvarez thanking the football gods as well as his coaching staff.
Martin, let's go back to this point. Wisconsin's defense was getting run over. Brett Bielema had a timeout. Brett Bielema says it doesn't matter how good you were or how bad you were. The game comes down to this play. His defense answers the bell. Minnesota, another miscue, another misfortune, another thing of lack of execution cost them the football game.
With 23 seconds to go, the 115th edition of Minnesota and Wisconsin will go down in the books as a miraculous turnaround for Barry Alvarez in his last game against Minnesota, his 16th and all. And for Minnesota, it will go down as a rancorous, bitter, bilious defeat. You can't think of a worse scenario for a meltdown. The final score, 38-34. A conciliatory handshake for Glenn Mason from Barry Alvarez. And the Axe remains headed for the goalpost. Dontez Sanders, the linebacker, chopping it down, and with it, chopping down the hopes of Minnesota, remaining perhaps in the conference race. Let's go downstairs today.
Barry Alvarez, how does this game rank in terms of the drama and excitement in this great rivalry?
Well, you know what? We've had some wonderful shootouts with them. I thought two teams really fought hard today and battled. I'm proud of my guys because they didn't quit. When you think you've seen it all, you haven't seen it all. It was unbelievable to finish a game like this. Really proud of my kids.
Less than a minute left. All they had to do was get a punt off. What was going through your mind? Did you think you had a chance to come back and win?
Yeah, I thought we had a punt block on, and I thought we were moving the football, we'd have a chance to win. We just wanted the ball back.
What does it mean for you? This is your last Axe game to win the Axe and keep it in Madison.
Well, I look at it at the end of the season, but this is a heck of a win, and I couldn't be more happy with a group of kids and happy for them. And John Stocco, the way he played, coming home and playing the way he did, really happy for my guys.
Barry, thank you.
That incredible comeback by the Wisconsin Badgers, seemingly dead, resurrected in the last 30 seconds. John Stocco, the quarterback, made a homecoming, played well. Brandon Williams with a great late touchdown reception from the aforementioned John Stocco. Levon Rowan now carrying the Axe. And Wisconsin now has won 9 of the last 11 against Minnesota. And the stunned crowd here at the Metrodome still can't believe it. Lawrence Maroney, a career day for him. He ran for 258 yards. Gary Russell also with an incredibly productive day. He ran for 139, but the smile will take a while to come back for Maroney. This day belongs to the Badgers. From the shores of Lake Minnetonka and Lake Monona everything in between. It's all Badgers at the end. For Dave Ryan and Chris Spielman and our entire crew, I'm Mark Jones. There's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. College Game Day Scoreboard presented by Acura is coming up next. Wow.